If us, Team Secret, play our best, we are not going to lose them. Well, thank you, EWC a lot, and this is the end of our interview. Thank you so much for watching, and please continue your journey at EWC 26.
Welcome back to Free Fire at EWC 26. It's time. I wasn't lying to you. It is Group B gonna be coming in. I mean, we got some surprises in that Group A. I know one team. Conchita, you're back with us. Thank you so much for coming back.
Yay,
You're gonna be looking at RRQ.
Yes, it's so good to be back, and it's so good to finally see RRQ back in action because I'm rooting for them, obviously. I've always wanted to see them finally get the trophy, finally get to be able to feel and experience how it's like to be #1. Because the case is almost like, you know what they're saying? Always the bridesmaid and never the bride.
Oh.
That is kind of the case with RRQ, unfortunately, but I'm pretty sure that they're here to finally break the curse this year. Please don't make it a jinx. Don't make it another Aurora moment with Neptune over here. No, I'm not trying to jinx you, RRQ. I'm really rooting for you.
Oh, no. Maybe it'll be a blessing. Remember, AJ and Tash, they were able to bless some teams. Maybe you talking about RRQ will definitely be a blessing because I know one team that Lays wants to bless is none other than Team Secret.
The underdogs. I love an underdog story. I'm always, going out for those, the people that sort of, don't have the massive names, you know what I mean? But Team Secret. Now in 2025, they didn't do good. Okay, so you're like, Lace, why are you picking them? Like they weren't that great in 2025, where they completely had a brand new roster, choked. Yep, I'm using that. They hit about 14th place, and it was only in the last couple of global series and online tournaments that they were able to win back to back to back. So talk about on the rise and the come up. Team Secret are going to be the ones you have to keep an eye out on because although in earlier performances not that good, but it seems like something has come into the drawing board, which is making this team definitely one to watch.
Okay, well, hey, we'll have to wait and see
No
if
jinxes.
that's going to be a jinx or if it's a good call out and they'll be like, you know what, we really don't want to choke. One team that's going to be looking not to choke here on day one of Free Fire at EWC 26 is going to be Fluxo because this is that one championship that they're currently missing, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be looking to be like Verram, come in and get 3 booyahs.
Oh yeah, I'm expecting that as well, especially when the top dogs is not part of this. Right? We've seen the group of death from Group A. Group B right now is, I couldn't say that they don't have that fire compared to what we've witnessed earlier, but it's a similar story from what we witnessed from RQ, Fluxo, especially after they were they were stolen of that global finals championship by Verram United.
Stolen.
Everything was just going downhill. Well, not too much of downhill. They're just short out of being champions once again. So I'm really looking forward to that turnaround being brought in by Fluxo right now. And let's see though, because they still have the usual fire in them. And we were talking about snipers. MT7 will be in there. So I would love to see him really perform.
I mean, the reigning MVP out of Brazil too, right? And if we're going to be talking about players, once one player, whether it's from RRQ, Conchita, or from some other squad, because I know we're not biased to RRQ here whatsoever on this desk.
We are not. We are not. I clearly just said that there's always time for them to be champions because, come on guys, #2 is not good enough. And I think it is time for you guys to step it up. But yeah. I really want to appreciate how Dutz is doing so well as the captain of RRQ, but also something that really caught my attention is actually what the Fatality team is doing this year because they are trying a new meta. 2 snipers, 2 rushers. That is something out of this world.
Support?
And they are the strongest that they've been with this new formation and movement that they're trying to do, and it's just so amazing what a small change can do to a team.
Okay, Neptune, I see you itching over there. You're like, you're getting happy feet. You're like, yes.
He's trying to push me off the camera. He's moving so much.
Pretty sure you want to talk about this one too, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I've watched this team from when they were introduced to Southeast Asia in FFWS, and it was just a Falcon Hunters. And then they switched from Falcon Hunters to a Giant Hunters because they're just going against all the giants like Verram United, AJAL, and now bringing that into the conversation, double snipers. Back then, they were just the ones trying to catch up. Now they're ones leading the teams to a different meta. And I don't know if someone will copy them. I know if someone will copy them quite well to counter them. But we know that Chris Jaw, the coach, has a plan in there. I tried to squeeze it out of him, but he's a lock.
Well, let's do a bit of a prediction, right? With what we've seen so far out of Group A and how you have seen the lobby play out, what do you expect from that kind of new meta, from that kind of formation? Do you expect it to maybe perform quite well in surprises here, like some of the other squads were able to? Or what are you expecting from having two snipers?
Well, there's a lot of aggression that you can put in. Like you have more information, especially when it comes to Kalahari. And even in those usual maps like Bermuda, Purgatory, you still have a long range of information as well as elimination capability. So, and from similar to what I mentioned earlier for Burma United, they once they get that knock, they already use the launch pod ready to go in for that shot, for that confirmation. And they know exactly if they will be third party. And they can pull out quite quickly. So that's what we've seen from Bigatron, or Team Vitality rather. They're quick on their feet. They know when to get in and out because they know how to choose their fight.
Yeah, and seeing how the train goes from the Group A, I think the lobby looks quite similar to what we usually see at the Southeast Asia Games, right?
That is exactly what I was going to ask. I was like, that lobby was stacked. What are we in for?
It is so familiar. And the thing that I'm also noticing is that all the passive team are not doing so well in the Group A. So yeah, I think it's finally the chance for teams like Fatality, who are trying new things with two snipers, to actually perform really well and become, take the center of the stage.
I mean, sometimes when you have that particular play, you are adhering to the strengths of each player, because in any sort of game, you're like, I'm going to play support and just kind of sit in the back here. But no, I'm excited to see this because that is putting, probably everybody's strengths in the forefront. And it could turn out like a complete mess. But, to be one of the teams that are sort of only particularly running that sort of combination, this could be such an exciting match just to see this. And I want to see how many people copy it. I'm ready.
Oh my God, this is actually my very first EWC, as I told you before. And I am so moved by what I'm seeing today. I mean, can you see how amazing defensive Fluxos are?
I wish they were right behind us. I'm not gonna lie, because not only are they doing that stuff,
my hands up
they
too.
also had some drums. They had a bunch of energy. They're jumping up and down. They even have their mascot here. So actually, is that right? Yes, that might be right. I'm hearing that the amazing Karen Bombshell has an interview with some fans.
Can you feel this energy? This is the atmosphere of Brazilians fans. I am right now at the Fluxo crowd. Let's talk about with Amoroso, who is responsible for all these people that came all the way from Brazil just to cheer for their favorite team, Fluxo. Okay, Amoroso, I know this is your first time here in Paris, the first time you are out of Brazil. How does it feel to be the first time you are out of Brazil only for your passion for esports and especially for your team? Eu sei que é a sua primeira vez fora do Brasil e eu quero saber como é que você está se sentindo saindo pela primeira vez do Brasil, pela sua paixão pelo esporte eletrônico e para torcer para o seu time.
Cara, a sensação acho que é inexplicável. Não só eu, né, mas a maioria, 99% da torcida nunca nem viajou direito, tipo, não saiu do Brasil pela primeira vez. E tá todo mundo muito feliz, principalmente que a gente é uma torcida muito apaixonada. A gente nunca imaginou, né, porque tipo, a gente ia pra WB, né, pra FFWS Brasil de metrô, resenhando. Eu nunca imaginava que um dia a gente ia de avião assistir o nosso time em outro país, né, principalmente Paris, cidade maravilhosa. Então, nós tá muito orgulhoso do que a gente já construiu e eu garanto que a gente vai fazer história aqui e vai sair com esse título.
There's no words to explain what I'm feeling right now. It's such a special moment to bring all these people from Brazil, especially because we used to go to the regular season of Brazil by subway, by train, by walking, and these people could never imagine to get in an airplane and come all the way to Paris at EWC 2026. So right now, we are really happy to be here, especially to support Fluxo. That's our team. We love them. Okay, guys, make some noise!
Muito bem aí, nós viemos te apoiar.
I swear, I have better dance moves than this, but I'm not supposed to move that much.
That's dad
So
dances.
just
I have one question actually. Carol, can I be adopted by you? Me too. She looks like such a fun mom, you know, with the fans, with the drums and everything, the spirit. Oh my God, amazing. Girl
it
crush.
is. I mean, that outfit she's wearing too. She's sparkling everywhere.
I know, I
You
know,
see her
right?
walking, you'd be like, oh, there goes Carol.
That's my disco ball.
Yeah, a ball of energy for sure. Love you, Carol.
She's gonna. Yes, this is what I wanted.
Oh, yeah.
I asked for it, and we got it. Hold on, brother. I need you to come over here with that drum because I want to be able to bang on that drum at least once. But you know what? Since we have Fluxo here, earlier we saw Buram being able to get 3 booyahs.
Yeah.
Nobody expected that. I think it's safe to say that nobody expected that. So let's do the unexpected. Let's see, maybe we can cast her, curse them, or bless them in some kind of way. Lace, I'm gonna go with you first. Which team do you think, and don't let the teams behind us and the fans behind us influence your decision, that you think they might get 3 booyahs coming up in this Group B series?
I'm gonna get. I need some crowd control after this because I'm gonna go RRQ.
That's
Hopefully
the
they didn't hear
spirit.
me. Yeah.
That's the
They
spirit,
didn't hear me,
girl.
guys.
Love you.
She sold you on it.
She really did. So we're double caster cursing, right? No, we're double given positivity.
Yeah, we double blessed them.
We have a shrine out the
Hopefully,
back.
fingers crossed. Okay.
Well, before you give me your answer, before I go to Neptune as well, you were telling me that there is one player from RRQ that you really wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I kind of really want to see how Rans is doing because he's a rather new player. And what's interesting is that RRQ actually plucked him from the academy. So he's got a lot to prove. He's still very young and he's playing the role of a playmaker, which as we all know, usually is given to Abay. So it's something new that he's trying. I'm just really hoping that he can do his best and the stage fright doesn't really affect him because then again, being a new player, being new to EWC, it's a whole another pressure.
We call it new player, but it's
Yes.
a new dynasty.
Yeah.
You know, we have these seasoned players that have set in their ways, and then you get these younger players that
Yeah.
come through that change everything, and then it is the absolute world. So new dynasty, not new player.
Yes,
not at
new
all.
dynasty. But
RRQ,
it is
baby.
something that we needed to do though. We gotta keep them fresh.
Agreed.
We do. We definitely do. And you know what? I'm going to give you some more time because I think I have an idea who you might be picking, Conchita, in regards to the team that might end up getting 3 booyahs. So, Neptune, you got some time. Let's see if you have been swayed to the RRQ or maybe the fans behind us with Fluxo are swaying you or you're just going to surprise us.
No, I mean, despite of Fluxo being behind us right now, I'm just going to numbers right here. But because based on like the qualifiers that they have, the regionals that they have, they're the ones that has the most booyahs, 14 if I'm not mistaken, and you won't be able to do that. They're not even. That's just even the first phase, the first league. So I'm really looking forward to them to continue that here on because there's a lot of paying back that needs to be happening right now. Fluxo is waiting for this opportunity, and guess what's missing when they are in EWC right now is the fans. But now
Yeah.
we're getting that energy. We're going to get that energy as well because if you go to Brazil, you can see how crazy fans get, how loud
Yes.
it gets. Now. Not loud, but how Fluxo
Funny.
hype up.
That was like, okay, which one you want to go with? Okay, Conchita, you have
Yeah.
plenty of time.
Okay, I do. Should I talk a little slower then?
Which team are you going to go with?
Well, obviously, I have a special place for RQ in my heart. But
Okay.
if we're talking about distractions, I think one of the biggest distractions that they need to face and conquer this time is Secret WAG, because they are one of the strongest contender that we have right now in the Southeast Asia, and I do think that they have a lot to prove at this EWC 2026. But again, if you ask me which team are most likely to replicate what Buriram United Esports has just done, 3 booyahs, I think I'm gonna have to go with RRQ. They just deserve it, you know. It's just, I really wanted this to happen for them. I genuinely do.
That's a crazy way, long way to say it.
I'm really sorry. I tried to be
That's a
neutral.
professional right there, my girl.
She took us on a roller coaster of emotions.
like, she gonna change
oh my
it?
God, she's gonna change it. No, we're coming back. Okay, it's
No, but
actually RQ.
all I'm saying is that it's not without distractions, it's not without challenges, because I know that
course.
RRQ, it hurts me to say this, it pains me to say this, but a lot of people has been saying that they have this choke that they haven't really found how to be rid of that yet. You know, the stage fright. I don't know, something. Yeah, well, let's just call it a curse, okay? Just they need to break the curse right away.
It happens. Honestly, we've seen many teams in different battle royales. We've seen teams being able to do it here at Free Fire too, where you get to this kind of position, where you get to this kind of event, and the comfort of your home is no longer there.
Yeah.
The comfort of having close relatives to kind of support you if you have a bad day is not there. Even though sometimes we do have family traveling with some of the players, it's just a completely different atmosphere, and sometimes players do tend to choke. Sometimes the pressure does get to them. What I want to know, Neptune, is if you are one of those players, let's say 3 games not really going your way, right? What can you do as a player to just snap yourself out of that mindset?
Again, one thing that pressures the team is because they're not enjoying the game. And that's basically like, that's a basic when it comes to playing the games. All you have to do is enjoy it, because that's where everything gets clear. Whatever you practice would be coming back to you. There's no more pressure of the opponents, no more pressure of the crowd. Just enjoy yourself. Just go back to the basics. And then that's when you go with the checklist of how are you going to go with it? Are you going passive? Are you going aggressive? Will you be like, and I'm pretty sure these teams has plans from A to Z, or probably even more.
And if I was one of the players, I'd be like, but Neptune, booyahs are fun. Winning is fun. But
Eliminations are fun.
Yes,
Not
that is a
really,
great
no. Yeah, but then again, I have to agree with Neptune, because the more you let yourself go, the freely you play, the better you get. So I think it happens in every sports.
Yep.
The mentality of going all out and just putting it out there, the sincerity of it is actually what's going to help you to perform better.
Yeah, and the one thing that we actually don't want from any of these teams, and that we tend to see quite often, as sad as it is to say this, is that they wait for the last second to just actually send it. When they got nothing to lose, that's when they're like, you
Team
know what?
Falcons.
Yeah, we got nothing to lose. Let's just send it. And luckily for Group B, I mean, you're going to have 6 matches to start off with. You saw what happened with Group A. Going into this lobby, Lace, especially in Group A, we saw so much aggressiveness. Are you think it's going to be the same? Because I'm thinking it's going to be the same. Aggressiveness is at the top of the chart.
Well, I did talk about that. I said, I think it was even with GG, match number 1, where they hit 17 limbs. They came out incredibly strong, which solidified those future games for them. Did they win? No, but they were sitting in the middle of the pack, you know, a little bit more safe than hitting those bottom 2 on the leaderboard. So I think come out incredibly strong. And, you know, we're talking about the teams, double snipers, double rushes, like just see if this works. Give yourself those 2 matches, those first 2, come in strong. Doesn't work, and adapt and make changes through there. But yeah, y'all need to like turn this up, because I need to see some action.
Yeah, I mean, it's Paris and it's summer, so it's hot outside. Might as well turn up the competition inside as well, right? And as I keep saying,
Entertain us.
as I keep saying, I think we've been seeing some changes now. Aggressive way of playing is actually works, and it is what the team has been trying to do in the first group, and I think that's the only way to do it now, since Group B have some dangerous teams in it as well. So.
Yeah, I think what we would expect, especially this is second half of our day number 1, because they've seen a lot of tactics already. They've watched, they stalked a lot of teams right now. Yeah, so they can get more of those strategies on their own, especially if it's in tune with their own personality. And that's what we would expect right now, especially with those, as you mentioned, Gun Dynasty. Who doesn't want to be on the top of the board, like doesn't care about getting booyahs yet, because it's just day number 1. You don't need that for the like compared to Champion Rush, so you can go with that kind of approach and then rest towards the second half.
Okay, well, it's time to see if Group B is gonna be top heavy, or if we're gonna be seeing something different that we haven't seen yet. Group B, Free Fire at EWC 26 starts now.
Of our teams have now had a chance to compete right here on the Gadia City grid. And there's plenty more where that came from, Looting.
Yeah, of course, 40 ace players just waiting in the backstage now, and they're counting down the time, the moment, until they can finally get their hands on the game.
Oh, well, let me take this opportunity to remind you that this is your chance to instill the fear of combat into your opponents. Don't hold back, don't hesitate, and trust in your teammates.
Yeah, and as we saw in the first group, like, there is few surprise, but most of the time the favorites just have made strong start to the tournament. It will be maybe the same on Group B. I mean, we will find out in a few minutes now. So please, ladies and gentlemen, help me to welcome our teams, starting with Miyako! Ali.
Al Ahly Esports!
Total Gaming Esports IQ!
Straw Hats Esports!
Lion!
S8UL Esports!
MIB Lost!
Team Vitality!
Team RRQ!
Twisted Minds!
Team Secret!
And finally, Fluxo W7M! This is where your journey begins. You decide whether you dominate or whether you simply survive. This is Free Fire at the Esports World Cup.
And which team will come out on top in this Group B? Hey, you know what? It's time to find out.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Esports World Cup Free Fire 2026 here in Paris, France. We made it, Lucifer. We have made it. My name is Husky, of course, joined by Lucifer on the desk, and we will have 6 more games coming up. This time with the teams from Group B, a group with a lot of second places, a lot of podium finishes, but never at the top, a lot of second place curses, a lot of redemption arc waiting to be reignited again.
I really like that we're going to be casting this group, especially because everybody's got to prove themselves. That's the main impact of this group. Compared to our Group A, where we saw the Group of Death, the most difficult group, the toughest of the teams, and you could see it's already top heavy. But I think this is the group, Group B, 6 games, where anything can happen. Everybody has a chance. Yes, Fluxo is one of the favorites, and they are roaring with their fans right here. And on top of it, RRQ, they're somebody who's looking forward to get themselves on the board and not choke.
Yeah, if you want to look at a lobby with teams that have known heartbreak more than anyone else,
exactly,
this is the lobby. This is the group. Fluxo last year in Jakarta in the Global Finals 2025, second place for both categories, both ripped away by Thai teams AGL and Clash Squad. BRU in the Battle Royale after breaking the streak for 2 years straight. RRQ, same thing, EWC 25, 3 chances and they dropped all of it. Recently in the Spring Clash Squad, same thing, came in second. Global Finals 24, 24, they came in second again. So many storylines that they're waiting to complete, and I think this is a very good litmus test for us to find out who has the upper hand, who came in more prepared than everyone else.
And on top of it, like, Fluxo are trying to get to their winning ways. I think what Team Secret did, just in the recent SEA finals that we ended up seeing for Spring, they took it in a storm. They became the champions, and nobody could believe what just happened. I think they are going to be looking forward to replicate that here, because this is Vietnam coming here for EWC. They missed out last year. They want to make sure that this 26th season is something that they can be able to prove, along with, as we mentioned, right, Group A already being the most difficult group. Here there's an opportunity for the South Asian team, something that we did not see a lot in Group A. They missed out their opportunities. It was a very tough lobby out there. They couldn't get out from the bottom 6, but I think here there's a wild chance for the Bangladeshi teams, for the Indian squads, all going up the ranks.
Hey, we have Seoul, we have Straw Hats. I think even TG is in here. Total Gaming is here as well. I personally, if you ask me, I'm looking at Latin teams, right? I am looking at both MIBR Lost and Lion, especially Lion, because this is a team that has members, has players from Rainbow 7 back in FFW, that's 2025, and one of my favorite sniper players out there, Games King. Young player, young prodigy from the region. He has made a promise that he's going to be the one that goes on that big stage. He gave us quite the performance last year on that global stage, but it wasn't enough to close things out. Now he gets a second chance here.
And I think I agree with you. I think Lion are a team to watch out for everybody else, the 12 lot, 11 lot. And if they don't, he might be a menace in the lobby in its entirety. The other survivors will have a very tough battle to go through. But I think it is another opportunity for young guns. When you already spoke about it, SHUL Esports, they are the guns that are looking forward to prove on a global stage. They've been very aggressive in the Indian lobbies. They've been known as the underdogs, and now they're looking forward to prove in such a stage as here. I hope that aggressiveness right out of the game number 1, like how we ended up seeing Loud, is out here from SHUL.
Yeah, and if you talk about young guns and aggressive players, right? We have people from Fluxo who have also had quite the journey. Even before they were Fluxo, they won their first trophy back in 2022, and then they did it again the year after under the banner of Fluxo with only one minor change to the roster in the sniper role, right? But this entire squad has been together for what, like 3-4 years now, and they're constantly chasing for new highs. They've came close in recent times, and when you look back at EWC 24 and 25, they didn't really have the best finish. Last year, didn't even qualify for Champion Rush. They were bottom 6 in the Grand Finals, alongside teams like VRU and Falcons, surprisingly. And now I think they're in a very good spot to make things right. Even though you look at how they qualify here, they came in 4th in their region. But I think, you know, a team like Fluxo is a team that is always full of surprises.
Yeah, the surprises and possibilities. I think this season in its entirety for Free Fire itself, teams have had an opportunity to prove themselves, win, like how we spoke about Team Secret, right? They took up an opportunity who nobody in that SEA Grand Finals thought would be possible. Back-to-back booyahs, and something that Fluxo right now can do it for themselves. I think right now everybody is looking and gearing for them, because they've been roaring from the very start. Even before we ended Group A, that was one noise that we heard from the very start and from the very beginning. And I think when we talk about the beginnings of all things, I think I want to talk about Total Gaming as well. This is a squad from India that have been the biggest in terms of names for Free Fire, and they want to prove on the global stage. They have certain recent changes that they're trying to test the grounds itself, and now that they're on an international stage, they would rightfully want to prove their decades of experience right here, right now.
Even for me, it's a very exciting time, because it's not technically not the first time we've seen, you know, teams from South Asia and India compete in a regional international stage. We actually saw it for the first time back in 2022, and it's been a long time coming, right? Like we sort of have the same journey as the Aurora Gaming from Malaysia, where it took 4 years since the last appearance on an international stage. So I think, you know, this really goes back to how much they can make use of the unpredictability of this group, right? I think with how volatile Group B is, it is very easy to blow the gates wide open and take that lead. But our experts actually also talked about RRQ's young star runs, right? Conchita mentioned it earlier on. This is someone that has been on my radar for a while. In Clash Squad, phenomenal performance. I think taking over the reins of Abai in that playmaker role has really suited him very well. But like she mentioned, this is also the true test. Can he kind of deal with the pressure, right? Or will he fold?
We will kind of see how it goes for the side of RRQ, mainly because even I was having a chat with Neptune yesterday, depending on what RRQ keep making changes about. They're very adaptable in their play style. And Maal, right? He's been the main man who everybody thinks is going to fight from afar, but all of a sudden he's right in front of your face. So things like that, strategies coming out could be something that we see especially in this group, where we saw Group A had dedicated stuff that they were doing, whether it be the support players, whether it be the rushers or the snipers. There were those specific roles, but in Group B, a lot can change because we have teams who want to prove themselves. Ali itself, them here on this stage, they want to prove themselves from MENA, and now here on EWC 2026 Paris, they want to make sure that they are one of the ones in the top 4, especially because it's cutthroat, right?
Yeah.
If you don't be at the top 4, you have to go to the survival stage, and if you don't stay in the top 10, you're out of the tournament tomorrow.
It's insane because you look at survival stage, there's an extra 10 games you have to play,
exactly.
right? You play 12 in the group stage, and if you perform good enough, you skip that 10 games. You get the prep for the grand finals. If not, you go to another gruesome 10 games, and then we have an uncapped grand finals with a 90-point threshold to even have a chance of winning everything. I think at the end of the day, I personally want to see some of these regions, these unproven regions, give us something to smile about, right? Last year, Dragon Esports has proven that in Riyadh. Sure, there were some shortcomings we did discuss on broadcast at that point of time. They're not the best when it comes to gunfights, but one thing that they excelled in is reading the circle. They are making smarter choices, better rotations, and more crisp macro manipulations to outsmart teams like BRU, like Falcons, like Fluxo, and that's why they were even top 6 in the first place. So I think if we can find some of the talents in this pool of Group B teams, it is going to be a very, very interesting day.
It is, and when you say about the smart choices, right, I want to talk about Team Vitality in the Asia Invitational that we right now had. They became the champions, right? They took it away from Team Apex Gaming. Team Apex Gaming had almost an opportunity. KD goes right up on the roof. If that worked out, maybe in the Asia Invitational, we ended up seeing Team Apex Gaming and India getting a crown just before they headed towards the Esports World Cup. But Team Vitality taking that might be a push for them here on the international stage, where they have an opportunity to take another title for themselves, because that might be the high that they'll be riding on.
Yeah, I mean, they almost got that trophy last year, right? It went all the way to a Game 10, and you cannot script this any better. The last 4v4 fight was between them and Evil's Divine. They were also the one that stopped RRQ from winning everything in Game A, and you know, they were the ones that really gave us that Game 10 in a way. So this year, I think Team Vitality, even though they haven't really been at the top, you don't really see them on the podium finish, they have done more than enough to get themselves onto Paris. And I think this is what actually matters in the grand scheme of things.
And mattering for Bangladesh is going to be Straw Hats. I think when we ended up seeing Titan Esports Club, they couldn't step up. We hoped that Blade would maybe have a big day. We did see him try to fight it out, break down the glue walls, but it was just not enough. But on the other end, Straw Hats, in the recent performance, even in, as I was mentioning about the Asia Invitational where Team Vitality won, Straw Hats put up a really good performance there. So I think this could be an opportunity for them as well, because we've been talking continuously that Group B is a group of opportunity. If you're able to put yourselves ahead of everybody else, you can get to the top of the charts. You can make it to the top 4 here on day 1 of the group stages itself.
Yeah. And I think one of the factors that is going to affect which team have better chances is the map rotation, right? We saw in Group A, it's going to be the same for Group B. And I think you and I had this discussion behind backstage where this feels like it favors the Indonesians. It favors RRQ, Vitality, and Fluxo to a certain degree, right? We no longer have Alpine in the map rotation. So we're looking at Bermuda. We start off good. Then we go Solara, then Curveball, then we go to Purgatory, and then Nextera, Kalahari, Nextera. I think the last 3 maps is going to be incredibly brutal for teams that are not called RQ, that are not called Team Vitality.
And I like that you brought out that this is going to be a really good map rotation, matches that we are going to flow through for the Indonesian teams, especially because when you kind of trace back in time, the teams from Thailand were dominating Free Fire in general. But now Indonesia, who have such a vivid history of Free Fire, are getting back to those titles. RRQ, we were talking about them. They're getting closer. I think that finish that they need, the refining might have just happened right before the Esports World Cup. Same goes for Team Vitality. They've been on the hunt for this title, but they just missed by nick. But this time, maybe hook or crook, they make it happen.
Yeah. Only thing that I am slightly sad about that we're not going to see for the next, today and tomorrow is Team Vitality against Falcons, right? In different groups, love to see the Falcon Slayers show up somehow, but good chance that if they both make it, whether it's to survival stage or the grand finals, I think it's almost a guaranteed if you just look at public opinion.
Yeah.
But I'm a sucker for underdog stories, right?
Yes.
At some point, I'm willing to sacrifice some of these top dogs to get the unproven regions on that big map, right? If you want to trade our, okay, maybe a bit too much.
Yeah.
If you want me to trade Aurora for Straw Hats, I would make that trade.
Agreed. I think that works out. But when you kind of talk about these underdog stories, right? You need to talk about the new regions who have come into the Esports World Cup. That's going to be USA. We've already talked about India.
Yes.
USA, Mia Corp coming into this Esports World Cup 2026. We saw how they played out, and I think out of the lot from USA, they are really good. So going up on this international stage, we've not seen the newer teams prove as well immediately when they start off. But if they can, that tells us the competition has completely changed.
Yeah, actually, it's quite the breath of fresh air as well.
Yes.
Right? I wouldn't have dreamed of having the stakes in Free Fire as well, but here we are. And also a fun thing to point out, a fun little detail that we actually both noticed at the start of the day is that the what do you call it, the shield where you put the key in.
Exactly.
Right? So there's the inscription in the middle, right? And it's written everything, nothing is gained, everything is earned, and it's inscribed in the native language of the team that won last year. So if you rewind or at some point we get a clear shot of that again in the center, you can see the writings is actually in Basta Indo because he did win last year. Neat little detail. I love it a lot.
And this makes that shield a lot more personal to get it.
Yes.
Right? You have your own inscription for the region that you're going to be representing, your own language that is going to be coming up, and you could get to the totem, which we started at the start of the day. You have seen on the stream itself, as we are going to be starting off the Group E games. That is something that these players will be thinking at the back of their mind. A long run of 12 games in total, but today they have to only worry about the first 6 games they play out, how they start off, how they change. And I think for Group B, compared to Group A, it's about adaptability, change, be on top of your heels. If you're going to be setting your foot down, it's going to be very tough.
I agree. And, ironically, there's still one more team that we haven't highlighted, and it's also a team that a lot of time gets sidelined, but not for a bad reason. That's Twisted Minds, right?
Yes.
This is a team that they have always been doing some of the dirty work behind the scenes. They've always been putting out good numbers, but they're never sort of under the microscope. They're never in the center of the stage because it feels like when they pop off, you get an instance or two of good moments, of good plays, but afterwards, you sort of desire more from them, and it feels like it never happens. And I hope that they change it this year, right? Because this is a team that previously, when we still had one of the best snipers from Thailand, Saming on their squad, it is one of the deadliest teams. It is actually the first team to ever qualify for the Esports World Cup 24 in Riyadh. They were the first team to make it through under the banner of Reverse Raid, and then they became Twisted Minds. But ever since that, it hasn't really been the same, and we are still looking for the spark that made Twisted Minds 2 years later.
Something that is same that we have seen from the very start, even before our start of the team entries, is the energy coming in from the Fluxo fans. They're looking unstoppable. I'm just loving this vibe that they've created for our arena, for the stage that we are at for Esports World Cup 2026 Paris. It looks unstoppable. The energy is just going through veins for everybody. And it feels like for us also on the desk, right? Just jump up from your seats, start dancing, vibe to those beats, and go the Fluxo way. They're enticing everybody sitting here to just root for Fluxo.
It's like, how could you not want to root for Fluxo, right?
Yeah.
In fact, even when they lifted out the banner, there's actually like a backstory lore, right? We asked Carol about it, and it was the whole encounter between Fluxo and MIBR Los back in their regular split. And well, guess what? They are both in the same lobby again, and we actually would get a potential remake of that scenario on Kalahari if it does happen, because record has it, MIBR Los has had Fluxo's numbers back on Kalahari until Fluxo decided that they've had enough, and that's where the whole code comes out. It translates roughly to, dang it, they had us. I can't go any further than that, but you get the idea, right? And it became a quote for the Fluxo fans that they are now flying on that banner, which is nice, right? Like sometimes people think that, oh, this is planned out. I'm telling you, no one rigged anything, right?
Yeah.
It falls into place. Who could have expected Team Secret to win Spring? If you ask me, I would say no way.
No way.
I tuned in, I saw them lift the trophy, and I'm like, okay, they won. How did they win? 4 booyahs? Hello?
Yes, I was so surprised to see that happening one after another, and I think that's a similar storyline I kind of expect from RRQ when I was talking about the Asia Invitational, right? They were so close. They were closer than Vitality, even though they had activated the Champion Rush. It was supposed to be RRQ to close it because they made a similar comeback like that, back-to-back booyahs, and they activated the Champion Rush, but they missed out on closing it, and Team Vitality just did it.
Yep, but we actually seen it many times. Even from a team that's actually not here, Team Onyx Esports, went back in Spring 2025. We know that, right? They won the Champion Rush when no one expected them to do so. Unfortunately, the 25 round wasn't that great for them in Riyadh. I think that is the crazy thing about Champion Rush, which we have plenty of time to mentally prepare for. But you can see some of these teams, they're holding hands, they're making sure that they were actually in a group hug before the walk-ins. A lot of these teams, especially those that are coming in for the very first time, just making sure that they dial in. Right? For the experienced ones like Fluxo, we see Bobs, he's meditating, he's ready to wreak havoc. But like again, for the unproven regions, I'm looking forward to see if they can upset the balance. I think that is the most exciting part right now.
I think the weighing scale is going to be a big imbalance in this group. You cannot figure out which team's doing better. Right from game 1 to our end at game 6, you will have no clue about it. But as the fans are riling up, it's also time to start our very first game. It is Bermuda for Group B here at the Esports World Cup 2026 in Paris.
Paris, France, let's continue to light things up because Group B is going to be a fantastic show. And right off the bat, we got to look at how Bermuda plays out, right? In this case, very generous flight path right down the middle. We should get a decent circle. The drops come in still pretty much what we expected from the teams that we see a lot. Vitality going to Observatory, RRQ going to Remnant Village. I want to see who takes Peak, right? Because usually it's a BRU spot, but BRU isn't here. We're looking at TG deciding to go for Peak. I think Fluxo should go for Cape Town or somewhere that gears towards Sentosa. Miyako also heading that direction as well, but actually Fluxo spreading out.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. Fluxo going all over the map. We can see one of the players, as you already mentioned, between Miyako, but most of the teams seems to be a little safe and sound, except for Twisted Minds and RLE Esports. A little bit of a quick battle, first elimination picked up by Exposi, and that's going to be C4, who's already down, and that's going to be Al-Hali already in a disadvantage. Remind Hawk and Simons has to pick this up. They're closer, a quick dash to get the player back up. They expend their ability to get a revive.
And I think, in the early game, it is still very much understandable, right? You really don't lose too much. Worst case scenario, you go back to square one. I think for Al-Ali, that's exactly what they're looking at, right? Buy some distance between them and Twisted Minds and make sure that they don't lose too much numbers. Unfortunately for them, they can't really fully disengage from this, so now they're going to be put to the test. Can they stand up against Twisted Minds in that early game gunfight?
It's going to be difficult for them. They've already faced a challenge. They had to revive the player, and you can see Twisted Minds have no thought of backing off, and early I don't see them retreating from this fight. They're stuck here, and it could become even more difficult because the resources in the early game will not be that great, and the challenge is still happening. Twisted Minds have a glue wall right in front. Oscar's Valiant dash doesn't work over there, but still Exposi tries to bring it back and exchange on an elimination.
And it's Total Gaming that is the one that caused disaster for both squads. I think getting that elimination early on onto the bus, that is going to stop every altercation that has happened to this point and shift the focus of Twisted Minds towards themselves. 3 eliminations early on. Al-Hadi gets bailed out of this situation. Everyone lives on, but let's see how far Total Gaming wants to push this.
Total Gaming Esports, Aiku, they wanted this opportunity for a long time. Their team in the making itself needed some fine-tuning with the new addition coming in water. And it seems like it's working out, and there it is, Shanke. He finds one, but quickly traded off by Diamond. So there is answer coming in from Twisted Mind, but they have to be wary. And Mafia looks like he's back in form, picks up Diamond, the man who troubled them. That is another elimination added to the pool, and Total Gaming right at the start get a total of 6 troubling Twisted Minds.
Yeah, took off on a sprint in a marathon and off to a great start. 6 eliminations at the back, and unfortunately for the boss, doesn't really have much resources in his bank. So even a revive would be an impossible task as of now. To make things worse, not much resources nearby that he can go for. At least no coins
This is what I was
in
worried
sight.
about.
You did say, I mean, Total Gaming, they have something in store for us. Gives me back the feeling of what we saw from Gun Dynasty earlier on, right? It could be that run as we shift our focus over to Lion. Them against Soul, Vitality as well. In their crosshairs, Sibang being forced out by the Riptide Rhythm. A couple of shots now from Lion. It's gonna be Joker that finds that, but stolen away.
SHUL Esports. That's Noor, the newest addition for the lot. And he has to prove himself on this stage, but now he gets taken down. It's going to be a trouble. He will also be confirmed. Bunny, he couldn't do much. The glue wall in front of him, Riptide Rhythm being used. Now he's going for the jump shot, but Joker surrounded him. That's not going to work out. Once more, Lion picking up another elimination on SHUL. So the start not great. Troll also down. It's all up to Jack, and he's making a quick run away from this fight entirely.
Yeah, you tempt the Lion, you better be ready. And in this case, Lion were fully prepared to receive that hit. Especially when you're dealing with people like Joker, like Games Kings that we talked about, the young prodigy of Latam, Hacks as well. Sometimes forgotten in the wayside as Jack gets found, jump blast him in the back, and that's another point gone. Twisted Mind secures the second, and they get a full revive, so the Boss get the job done.
Thankfully, before going down, SHUL were able to find a revive. Others it could have been a very first elimination in this Group B Game 1. Thankfully, a little recovery, even for Twisted Minds, because of what just went on earlier. They were not prepared against Total Gaming. Now they did find an elimination that they're happy about. But the happiest so far, as we can still see, Energy not even a single beat being dropped. That's going to be for the Fluxo fans. But Straw Hats finally, who had an early difficulty, now picking up pace. They pick a player from Al-Hali, and that's going to be Remind.
And even then, we still have 45 players in the lobby, right? As if no one got taken out at all. Bit of a casualty, but nothing a couple of revives wouldn't solve. Even when you look at the radar, TG moving towards the center very soon. Launchpad being taken by Straw Hats. They're going to leave Graveyard. One of the players does lag behind a little bit, but you do have the Reconnaissance squad ahead, and they might end up running into Simox from Al-Hali. They spot him, taking the Launchpad out. So Observatory now conceded over the Straw Hats.
I think because this Observatory is around the edge, right? We saw Al-Hali want to get this position. But right now with a lightning bolt, make a call. It might be a loss, have a challenge. That's going to be RRQ that they want to hit on. General is down. Rigby holds the entrance, puts the player. That's going to be runs down along with a bear. And MIB loss will be able to recover the players. And this Bolt Maker works in their favor.
Yeah, right at the bat, taking out the captain of RRQ and sending only the young Ma'al on the run. No vending machine in sight. A revival point that is too risky to try and capture with Team Vitality and MIB Outlaws about to square off in that area around Clock Tower. Plenty of compound to work with, a lot of low grounds to hide with. But Team Vitality splitting up as well into a 1-2-1 formation. Whereas MIB Outlaws, they're going to settle in the compound that they just wrestled away from RRQ.
I really like how Vitality is strategizing. They're waiting for an opportunity. They're like the cats who are about to pounce, and MIB Outlaws have no idea about it because they just pushed an opponent out of that compound.
Yes.
They chased out RRQ, but look at this. Slowly trailing in that same direction is even Total Gaming. There's going to be an helter-skelter breakout happening at Clock Tower now.
Yeah, it's going to be pandemonium pretty soon. We got to see where this circle takes us, right?
Yeah.
High chance Clock Tower is going to be in the next circle. But where it kind of pivots towards going to decide where Total Gaming goes, and smack dab in the center, we are getting a very, very nice algorithm for Game 1.
Yeah.
Starting it slow and tame.
Slow and steady was not how all it started. Multiple teams having casualties, but still all the 12 teams that dropped in Bermuda are still surviving. A major chunk of it, or maybe a team fully being eliminated, can be seen here now at the 7-minute mark. Ma'al finally gets found, and that is going to be the first team. You mentioned there is no vending machine nearby, and Ma'al couldn't get closer before getting spotted by Al-Hali.
Bit of a throwback to the recent Asian Invitational that they were in, right? Same thing. Start, it's always not how you start, it's how you finish, and in this case, for Team RRQ, they're gonna go back to the drawing board, 5 more rounds ahead, and some of their most powerful maps in the later stages of Group B, so not all hope is lost. Exposy finds the 3rd point for his team as well. Twisted Mind slowing the pace now. Was able to get back on their feet. Decent economy, and even having a very decked out arsenal should this game go late. I think they just cleared out Graveyard, so there is going to be a very good trajectory for them to move on forward. Even better with Lion just leaving where they were.
On the other end, Silence still at Clock Tower. I think people can hear the clock making a tick sound. That's how we are seeing MIB a loss, Total Gaming and Vitality together, and joining that lot is going to be Straw Hats. Slow and steady, everybody want to look for an opportunity. This is going to be Yago, who spots through the window on the player of Straw Hats, the newest entry team who've made it to Clock Tower. But hey, being at the center, meaning the fight is not going to yet break out. It is only when the circle shifts away from you and you have to make a move is when we see the fight. I think other than that, they'll be just trying to chip away each other's HP. Other than that, nothing else for now.
Yeah, especially in this case, for them, they're going to spread out their manpower, right? You want to control as much area as possible. You do run the risk of getting picked off. We've seen that happen multiple times. If you're up against a more experienced team, that's what they're looking at. Some of the weaker chains of the anchor, Diamond. Getting another one under his belt, and this is gonna start hurting Lion as Twisted Minds down for round 2 back at Observatory where they dropped in the early game, but more equipped to take on a fight.
Twisted Minds, I really like that they managed to recover, but they're not just completely clocked in. They need to figure out, and same goes for Lion. A quick jump coming in from Gamesh King. He will get still in another different direction, but not yet towards the circle. He's just moving further away.
Yeah, I mean, one team that has been pretty silent the entire game is Team Secret.
Oh, yeah.
Surprisingly, this is a team on Bermuda. You expect them to come out swinging, get a couple of eliminations before they go off the radar. But so far, this Team Secret right now feels like Fluxo from 2024, where they play an incredibly slow game, and at that point of time, playing slow is sort of how you lose out in the late game. And in this case, Team Secret, they are taking no chances. As you did mention earlier on, Lucifer, Lion not really focusing on getting into the circle earlier on, but now they will have to make a break for it. The launch pad being used, a couple of Dinoculars ahead of Bimasakti Strip just to make sure that there are no gatekeepers there. And circle pivots towards the southern side, so the journey gets extended, and they might still get intercepted by Twisted Minds.
Now I like the position of Clock Tower. More teams joining that fray. More teams wanting to take control of that arena. It's not going to be easy. Now is when it all breaks loose. Because right at the edge, when the zone closes in, we are for sure knowing that the Clock Tower will not be inside the circle anymore after it shifts.
I mean, the last we checked the radar, Team Secret were at Factory, and they were completely alone, right? Completely uncontested. Maybe Fluxo comes in from the eastern side, but even then, it's a high chance that they will not cross paths. But we did say Clock Tower has a lot of areas that you can play around. High ground, low ground, building, outside, inside. In this case, even the underground tunnel. As our Ali members basically nested there. MIB Alos continues to make sure that they control the perimeter, and Haone instantly finds the pop on the Koja.
That was an opening, but I think they should be able to bring the player back up because this is happening within the compounds. Nobody has clear sight of their enemy, so taking them down is not going to be quick and easy. But as you can see, it's just the waiting game right as of now. 11 teams surviving. If not for Mahal going down, I think we would have 12 teams. 11 minutes into the game. This is Group B, game number 1. I did not expect to see all these teams still surviving.
And we were literally just talking about this in the back rooms with everyone else, right? Like, it really depends on the teams that are playing in the lobby. Sometimes if they want to play fast, they're going to play fast. Sometimes they just decide, we're not going to fight. We're getting the latter. We're getting the teams that are going to start blowing some smoke maybe 30 minutes into the game when the whole lobby is still up. In this case, barring RRQ, who have been eliminated. But aside from that, it's going to get messy. And that also means this is an incredibly volatile late game.
It is. Especially because we already spoke, right? Group A, we know teams are very familiar with the circuit itself. We saw a lot of Southeast Asian teams already taking control of it. The Brazilian squad of Loud also taking control of it. But here, everybody is unsure about the other team. They want to read them, and that is the reason they're taking so much time. But finally, Batsin, he finds an opening on Mia Corp. That's going to be Vivek going down. Next, Joshua have to figure this out. Leon also surrounding them, so there's going to be a lot more trouble. Miyakop, they're trying to hold them off. Glue walls all across and making sure rooftop becomes their home for the time being.
Leon will have to make a decision right now. The circle is going to start hurting them. They are going to be rested in this corner. But if they don't show themselves outside of the building, Miyakop has a very good idea of where they might be. Dinoculars could also solve that problem. The bigger winner now is definitely the team from the States, as Leon will have to huddle together and figure out a solution very, very quickly in the next half a minute. Fluxo making a big rotation and now running the Team Secret. And Exposy starts things off by taking out Josper. So Miyakop, they have another team to be worried about.
They did lose a player, but they're not worried about the casualty because they have an upper hand. They are on top of the roof. But right now, having an upper hand might be Fluxo. They want to take down Team Secret because they were the ones who made a jump right in front of them. and they're trying their best, but Team Secret quickly with the chrono, the glue walls are trying to keep it going, but PLS1 is down. TQ, he also gets taken down, and now 7, he is gone down, and Fluxo, W7M, put a team out.
The Brazilian Titans, 6 eliminations on to Butchers in. And MT7 stepping up to the occasion as well. We did say, even during one of the series breakdown, the series recap, snipers players are integral. MT7 Butchers in. We see Yago step up to the occasion as well. And our Team Vitality, it's their turn to make a splash, and they're taking care of their opponents. Only Tro is left alive. He's gonna try and walk away with the stealth bites as we lose Straw Hats off screen. Lion is also out, and now the lobby is going to start shrinking.
I don't know where Troll is going to make a run. We already spoke about Clock Tower. It's already in a very difficult spot. The vending machine is there, but so are many other teams. And Troll Gaming are on top of all of it. They're already in the first floor of things, so they have a better vision of where the other teams are. And Al Ali, we already spoke about them. They are underground. Nobody knows that they are there. They made their entrance. They're holding their control. On the other end of our screen, even Miyakov gets taken down. But wait, Troll, he picks off Dix. He's bringing this down to individual battles, and now Sipang has to deliver. He's trying to put up glue walls. Troll trying to win this out on a 1v1. It's going to be very difficult. Vitality on the last man. His position gets compromised. And Al Ali, they quickly jump in, and Team Vitality eliminated.
Taking advantage of the chaos, Al Ali gets themselves another point. Twisted Minds against Fluxo. W7M right now. A full blown out fight. 12 eliminations under the belt of the Brazilians. Exposy gets pre-fire. Butchers in, nails his 8 as MT7 finds the pass from long range. Twisted Minds getting dismantled. MT7 goes for a rescue mission. Bob's the captain back up on his feet, but Twisted Minds not so lucky. Diamond cannot withstand the pressure that is Butchers in and make it 15 for Fluxo.
Fluxo looking unstoppable. They're still at the edge of the circle. MIB a loss. Rigbai, he finds a player on Troll Gaming, but in the meantime, Troll getting eliminated. SHUL Esports, they are out. They only ended up getting 6 points in total. But Troll Gaming now, they start stepping out, but Aztec gets hit by Rigby. Yago putting down Shanky. Troll Gaming held this position for far too long. Vota, and then Aztec to fall. That is going to be the end for Troll Gaming. Holding that did not work in their favor.
And now Fluxo will take on Al Ali. Can they eliminate this team from MENA to give themselves that rematch against MIBR lost in the opening game? But Al Ali, they're holding steadfast. They are the ones with the man advantage. And MT7, he needs some help. But unfortunately, MIBR lost are in the best possible position. Bounce with a nade, takes out C4, equalize the battlefield. Hawk goes down. Al Ali now getting pressured.
Nades were being tossed by Fluxo, but MIB are lost. They turn it around, and Bobs is the last one standing. It's going to be very difficult, but also Bobs troubling Al Ali along with the help of MIB are lost. They put out Al Ali, and now it's the last one standing, Bobs, and it's going to be MIB are lost getting the very first booyah of Group B.
What an opener here for MIBR loss. A rematch that we didn't expect to see that soon in the final circle, with minor interventions and an uninvited guest in the form of Al Ali Esports. But at the end of the day, well fought, honestly, by the MENA region, right? Put up a good fight against Fluxo, gave them a heck of a 4v4 skirmish, even took out one of their members before MIBR Lords was even in the conversation. But there's nothing to be disappointed about. Los,
yeah.
They got the booyah. Fluxo still finished second. The fans, they're still cheering on. This is just the beginning.
Yeah, but if this is the very first game and we ended up seeing a fight breakout like that, which was, as we said, completely complicated. You couldn't decipher which team had the better opportunity or the better position because we spoke about it. Hey, this team has a compound. Hey, that team is in a good position right at the edge of the circle. But towards the end, MIB a loss who did not even seem on our screens a lot. They ended up closing it out, and it ended up being a fight between the Brazilians at the end of this game.
I mean, you called it out, right? You said that Clock Tower is a very good spot to be nested in. And guess who set up shop there first? MIBR lost.
Yes.
They got there first, they called dibs, and they owned the area.
And I think that's very crucial because even Total Gaming tried to play that out, but the timing when they jumped out, they got spotted because MIBR were ahead of that play. Yes. They were the ones who stepped out of Clock Tower, and that is the reason they were able to take down Total Gaming and put them down in an instant. And I think all the fights that we've seen MIBR take, they've been very quick in converting. Even in this, as we can see, the replay. quick hits coming in from Yago on the sniper. That is the initial approach that troubled Fluxo. They had an opportunity to recover, and on the other end, Al Ali also troubling them. But Bob's going to give it to them. Last man standing over there, looking forward to extra eliminations, ends up getting 2 more, and that's going to be a total of 18 for the lot of Fluxo.
Yeah, they get 18 eliminations. MIB Alos gets 14. And in a pretty ironic way, Bob's getting back down in the hands of his former teammate Yago, who actually won 2023 together as well. So again, a bit of a bittersweet reunion on Bermuda. But what a start we have. I mean, of course, barring the fact that RRQ got wiped out first, which is unfortunate circumstances. I'm pretty sure Conchita is losing her mind backstage. But we're going to take a moment to breathe and let these teams get back on track. So we'll be back with you guys in just a bit.
Is here, MT7. I am so happy to talk to you right now because Brazilian fans gave you a nickname called Baby Goat. Do you really think you are a goat? And why you think you can help your team to win EWC this year? MT7. Os fãs brasileiros te deram o apelido de Baby Goat. Você realmente acha que você é um Goat? E como é que você acha que você pode ajudar o seu time a vencer o EWC 2026?
Trabalhei muito, hoje eu me considero um GOAT aí do Free Fire, né? E, mano, pra ajudar meu time é naquela funçãozinha minha, né? Dar o suporte, derrubar o primeiro, o segundo, o terceiro, o quarto, fazer uns highlights maneiro. E é isso, é básico.
Of course, I consider myself a GOAT because I have worked really hard through all these years. And of course, I'm gonna have a good performance to help my team to win EWC 2026, doing what I do better, being a sniper. Thanks so much, MT7, and I'm gonna see you during the match at EWC 2026. High five.
High five. Bye.
And we are back here, and right now I'm with RRQ Kazu, Abai, and the coach Adi, who's gonna translate for us. Okay, so last year you guys were really close to the title. You finished in the second on standings. What have changed from last year to this year?
Kita kemarin ada di posisi kedua. Chance apa yang mau kita bawa kemarin sampai sekarang? Maksudnya apa yang mau kita lakuin dari yang kemarin untuk hari ini? Yang kita lakuin ya kita pasti lebih disiplin aja sih dari yang kemarin. We must try to more discipline before last season.
Perfect. Okay, we all know Indonesia is a powerful region, and you guys are defending the title. I mean, not your team, but Indonesia in general. Do you think you guys are favored to win this year since you finished last year in the second in the standings?
Tahun kemarin kan Indonesia cukup powerful ya, Mbak ya, 1, 2, 3. Nah, menurut lu untuk season ini gimana?
Gue yakin 3 tim Indonesia bakal 1, 2, 3 lagi. Tapi yang pertama tetap tim RRQ.
Yeah, we trust in this season. It seems like last season Indonesia still powerful, and we hope in this year team from Indonesia they still stay on top 3.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the interview. We wish you a good luck during the matches, and I will see you there in the arena, all right? Thank you so much, guys.
For RRQ, not really how you wanted to start off the day, being the first team eliminated. Hopefully it's not a caster curse. We'll have to see what's going to happen in the next 5 matches for that squad. But if you're a Brazil fan and you were jumping up there and just playing all those drums, my goodness, what a start for that squad.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, ending the game with top 2 coming from Brazil, it's just something that we'd expect. Because it's simple. Like, Fluxo was dominating it in terms of numbers. Even when they jump in against the opponents, they just are aiming for those squad wipes. So, MIBR lost is a team that we didn't expect to get that Booyah as well. So they were just stalking, waiting in the shadows until that final pounce.
One team that will be kind of stalking and just waiting to pounce on that second game. I know it's going to be some of those Indian squads because actually one of them, Total Gaming, ended up having one of the best performances that we have seen up to this point, especially this early on, right? Out of the squads from India. But moving on from some of the other squads, one surprise squad, especially at the start, Twisted Minds.
Oh, exactly. I mean, they're going back to the aggressive way. This is one thing that I was looking forward to every time I see Twisted Mind is them to go aggressive. And even though they falter in the first view, and you did mention about Total Gaming, because Total Gaming is one of a few of those surprises. And it's not so much that they cannot get away from it. A vending machine is available, so they can always go for a revive. And Twisted Mind, they got 14 of the total points. And that's 12 points behind MIBR. Lost though, but it's still a lot when it comes to this group.
It is a lot. And one thing that I know you're going to be happy, especially talking about Twisted Minds, is those eliminations that they were able to get, right?
Yep.
Because they ended up getting 14 points, like you mentioned, and 9 of those points were coming from eliminations. You're big on them, but I mean, we got to go back to Fluxo, because Fluxo, even though they don't end up getting the Booyah, they do end up with 18 Ilums. Can they maybe bounce back and go after that Booyah? Remember, we have some squads earlier on get 3 Booyahs in one series.
Well, I do understand the mindset of Fluxo at this point, because from what we've seen in that game, like, it is a slow pace. Not so much of chasing that is happening. And I think they felt that they're not hearing all those gunfights, so they're capitalizing on, I don't know, some of the teams just slowly warming up. And then once they see a squad, that's when they use exactly the strength they have, like MT7 as sniper, to get information or get elimination.
I mean, squads that you were looking at earlier too, Leon, I know, was one of them. I know a lot of people currently watching at home is hoping that SAUL Esports does end up doing good. That squad ended up getting a total of 2 eliminations. We want to, come on, tell them that, Tim. We want to see more.
Yeah, we want more. Bring us more. Because, I mean, I know this is the first day jitters for them, especially like second half. And we were talking about that on Studio. We're in. They've seen the gameplay for other teams. So this time, instead of just waiting for them to like using that tactics, they were a little bit shattered for the moment, but I think they can get back.
I mean, coming into this second match, I really want to see RRQ bounce back. And it's based on what Conchita was saying earlier on too. We don't want to see them get into those jitters. We don't want to see them get into that choking mentality that some of these people are expecting. I think they might be able to turn it around. And I know everybody here is going to be ready to see who's going to be winning Game 2 of Group B.
Thank you very much to Seven and Neptune. Yes, I mean, Conchita is right? We got to see if RRQ can get out of that underperforming, that choking zone, right? Something that is it's a very hard C word right now for them, because he has been playing them for very, very long, Lucifer. But when we look at Solara, I unfortunately have to put RQ aside just for a bit, because I want to talk about Team Vitality. This is a map that they excel on.
This should be an opportunity that they should close on. Solara, the smallest of all the games, the quickest of all the games, where when we compared Bermuda, right, there was a little bit of a silence in the mix. Now going and jumping down to Solara, there's an opportunity that everybody will be forced together, take that fight head on, and we might end up seeing it work out for Vitality, as you mentioned.
It's going to be pretty important as well, because for Team Vitality, they didn't get off the best start, 9 points, single digit. But then again, it was also a pretty top-heavy game number 1, with both the Brazilian teams coming out swinging. Let's see if they keep the momentum, right? A lot of times, teams, they come out in Game 1, Game 2, guns blazing, they hit like a 30 bomb, and then they gas out. And that's not really how you want. You want to be able to maintain and make sure that you don't overheat. And in this case, we're looking at both MIBR Lows and Fluxo.
And in that case, mainly, I look forward to RRQ pulling off their best games. Because the first game in general games, of all the performances I've seen coming in from RRQ, the very first game doesn't work in their favor. Every other game, they just pull off with a spree of eliminations. And something that also starts off for early, compared to the previous game, is finding the very first elimination by C4.
And for Miyakorp, instantly looking for the disengage. Easier to pull off on a map like Solara if you are lucky enough to get onto the grind rails. You can't get away, but in this case, it might come down to Kapas, see if he can get a couple of pickoffs to just scare out Ali away. Or if not, you're going to go into the contingency plan of just splitting up and cutting your losses.
Miyakop, in the last game, we ended up seeing being at the edge of the circle. They tried to play it out, it did not work out, and this waiting game troubles them. And there it is, another challenge coming in from C4, finds his second elimination here in Solar already.
Literally say that Kapas needs to be the one that anchors down the field. But unfortunately, I think with him gone, Miyakop is going to be at least put in shambles for now about cutting your losses. Team Secret make an early rotation. In fact, they actually caught Water, so that is a confirmed elimination there. I think 2 under the belt of Hwangam, looking for the remainders of Total Gaming, who actually had a great start in Game 1. But Team Secret, that started slow on Bermuda, looking to turn things up in Game 2, and that's number 3. Here's the knuckle sandwich and a triple for Hwangam.
And Team Secret are now picking up eliminations. They only had 1 point at the end of game number 1. Now they have already 3 added on. And Total Gaming, thankfully, they'll be happy that one of their players were at least able to run away from Studio rather than getting in the crosshairs of Team Secret again. And RRQ on the other end, they will be able to hold themselves off, get to elimination, and MIB are lost in still trouble. And moving up, Rawan, I think yes, has the max 7, but can he find the knock? He's trying his best, but it's not going to work out. Players are surrounding him, still be able to dabble with 1 knock, but will not be able to confirm for the time being.
Yeah, completely outnumbered. Fluxo against SAUL. Going even so far, Butcherson and Gio both bleeding out, and Gio is gone, terminated in this battle. As the Captain Box comes in, Tro with a shot! An instant disengage there, but damage is done to the Brazilians as Tro backtracks. MT7 calls to get out of there.
That was a big recovery coming in from Troll. He's a very crucial player on that sniper and always delivers, and this is one of the moments for him to highlight himself. But on the other end, Twisted Minds and Straw Hats as well did not have a great game. Twisted Minds at least recovered, but for the time being on the deficit with Exposy going down, they have to figure out how they fight out with Straw Hats. And Straw Hats, they need numbers, they need eliminations, something that they had expectations on, and they've not yet delivered. It's just 1 elimination.
And made worse by losing Exposy to RRQ, who popped him from afar, and that means the Straw Hats actually have a numbers advantage. Shocked is gonna shock Diamond with that one. Distant Minds down to 2, and Straw Hats now have a very good chance of taking over. But with RRQ taking out Exposy early on, they're gonna come in as an intervention as Jump is already out of there. So now RRQ is Straw Hats' problems.
And it is happening already. RRQ with confirming eliminations, they're taking down players from Straw Hats, and Straw Hats are in trouble. How do they recover from this? He is questioning who just challenged them. And it's not going to be an easy challenge. Delivery coming in on the Mac 10 from a bear. He puts the player down, and who will look forward to a revive from one of his teammates.
And the rest of Straw Hats are already booking it out of there. Very easy way to navigate from this area. They was doing just that. Straw Hats should be fine. A couple of Arsenal nearby, and a revival point in the vending machine down the road. Team Vitality on the other end finds themselves Miyakop again. Koja trying to pelt down the members of the USA team, but so far the glue walls have been nice. Team Vitality receiving some resistance from Miyakop, and it's Biblik that takes out Joe.
Not the best coming in from Team Vitality. Even the game 1 start, they were caught out in a 3v1 and they lost to Troll, ending up at a 1v1, and Al-Ali took their last elimination. So not sure of how they play this out. When you already mentioned, we spoke about this. This should be their map, their match. They should try to get back points, get to the top of the charts. But looking at how the play of this game is continuing, I don't see it happening anytime soon for Team Vitality.
Which is the craziest thing, because statistically they're technically not the best on this map, but whenever we get to that map and we look at the stats without Team Vitality, they step up. It's kind of a sick joke in a way.
Yeah.
RQ Kazu having their captain kept alive by a bye, but someone still needs to go retrieve him. And there it is, back up on his feet. And RQ with 6 eliminations under their belt. Could cross paths with Vitality, maybe even Straw Hats again.
I can say to Neptune and everybody else on our expert panel, pish posh, there's no curse, you don't have to worry about. It's just the RRQ play. The very first game doesn't work in their favor, and then they manage to recover. Team Vitality would want to do the same thing as well. Straw Hats on the other end at Casavista, they managed to recover. They did pick up those early fights, they did win it out against Twisted Minds, but they would have wanted to eliminate the whole squad. Thankfully, Jump made an opportunity to run away, but he still not revived his entire squad. This is what happens when you run away from a very early on fight. You do not have enough coins or reinforcements to push ahead or even go to the vending machine and try to get your player back up. And I think that's what's affecting Jump right now.
Quite an interesting development as well. As we look at the edge of the circle, plenty of teams are duking it out. You know, you have RRQ and MIBR Lost, the eastern side at Delta Isle, Team Secret and Lion on the western side as well. But I think Lion are looking for a disengage. They've already sent one of the players out to a vending machine to get those revives going soon as they start dropping bodies. And I think Games King is going to be trapped in quite the predicament. Team Vitality out in the middle in Archway and actually getting a pretty good area to hold on to.
The circle shifts a little southern, and there's an opportunity where again Total Gaming end up being at the very center. Straw Hats, who managed to also make their recovery, are heading in that direction at Bloomtown. And right above them, we already spoke about Miacorp. And Miacorp, just like the previous game, they don't go out all brash at right the beginning. They wait for their opportunity, which they did pick up a couple in the early game, but it's not going to continue. But right as now, RRQ, the ones who are continuing, the team who just got the Booyah trying and denying them, that's going to be a big spray coming in and picking the players off, converting eliminations, and that's how we ended up seeing them getting their 6 eliminations in total.
A way better spot than what we have seen in Game 1. I mean, anything that is not last right now is better for RRQ. Isolated jump right out on the edge. And unfortunately, the same predicament as RRQ from Game 1, no vending machine in sight. And
no coins.
No coins. There is one on the radar, but like you said, no resources to bring his teammates back. He actually just picked up a power of it.
Yeah.
And that could be the game changer if MIBR Lost don't spot him.
Fluxo on the other end, they have an opportunity to spot a player from Lion. Sneakily hiding in the time being here at the studio, and there could be an opportunity that they start off a fight that Lion are not prepared for. But I think Hax has an idea. He knows he's caught out between enemy land. He's not sure if he should head out and put his head there for a fight, and that is the reason he's just holding off until the players move out. But moving in for Team Vitality are going to be Al Ahly as well as Straw Hats. So something that they have to wonder about and change their pacing.
TG now up to start receiving some of those shots from Team Vitality, but they do have a compound that could keep them safe. Resistance put up a Mafia and App team to take out Deeks in that exchange, but again, compound pretty much secured for now. So Team Vitality, they should be able to recover and sort of readjust to the fight that's being put up by this Indian squad. And I think Total Gaming, there's also an opening where they could decide to go straight for the compound with Team Vitality if push comes to shove.
But again, just going back to the previous game, if they try to hold out the compound for far too long, we've known teams who managed to surround them, and that is how, even after almost having a great start, they ended up losing the battle, and MIBR Lost ended up pulling up a Booyah itself. So small instances, these small minute things that you let go of becomes a bigger viral thing for the other teams.
And Diamond taken out. Team Secret joins the feed again.
He just came back.
He just came back. I think we found a theme for Group B so far, Lucifer. Full squad, 10 minutes in.
Yeah.
Second time it has happened. I think this is what we can look forward to for the rest of the day, which is an exciting thing because it keeps it volatile. Our Ali even getting a small respite there. Circle now really shrinking down towards the middle. Man, 12 teams, 2 less space for this density of population. Team Secret from the north, MIBR Lost about to cross paths with them at Archway.
Team Secret on the other end, read by the Dinoculars. So I think that should be MIBR Lost who have an idea, or RRQ on the edge of it. Miacorp, they end up picking up runs, but Mahal answers back, takes Nyx down. But those are just knocks for the time being. There's no confirmation. Mahal, in turn, gets traded out. And now Al Ahly jumps to trouble Miacorp. This is just happening back and forth. These teams are just dropping players, but not confirming any of them. Oh! All of a sudden, runs and dots together. They put out Miacorp.
And breaks the game wide open, just as we thought that the drought will continue for a while longer. And RRQ springing to life and putting themselves on the board for now, and they continue to take on the challenge against Al Ahly. The glue wall is getting blasted and weakened by Al Ahly. Simox right in the front of Duz, and he is out. The captain once more removed by the Mina squad. Abai tries to take on the fight, but Al Ahly putting up better resistance, and RRQ forced away.
How did this happen? RRQ, they were looking good, and Mahal, now the last man standing, thankfully. A quick pickup truck, a quick boost. He's run back to the TV tower and a vending machine right in front, so he will be able to bring the players back. But Twisted Minds, they had an opportunity to break again RRQ. But I think they have their target right in front. Al Ali, who made trouble. Jump is down on the other end. They wanted to sandwich. I think that did not work out. And Al Ali have an upper hand because they have all their 3 players looking forward to this after converting a fight. And they're running across back into the circle, leaving Twisted Minds in trouble.
And Al Ali able to sneak past Twisted Minds as well. They poke for it. RRQ, they get the full revive, but the boss was laying in wait. Deuce, he just came back and he is removed from the equation again. So RRQ playing from behind, and everything is on the shoulders of Ma'ao. He needs one more on the diamond. The AWM, just enough to put him down so Abai can finish him off with the Mac 10. Chrono Dome is out, but the boss is Sin, and Twisted Minds continues to put on the pedal.
RRQ getting trouble back and forth. They're trying their best to recover. It's not working out in their favor. It was Al Ali first and now Twisted Minds. And Twisted Minds in this game especially are able to hold themselves off. Team Secret on the other end have been just watching this action, teams moving around. Now they have their own opportunity. Ma'al, he needs to run back, but he only has 400 coins. That is not going to be a full recovery for him. He wants to look forward to a knock or an elimination, but he doesn't have enough time. And with Ma'al going out, the zone doing the damage, RRQ are done for here in Solara.
Standings isn't pretty in terms of placement points, but at least
eliminations.
They ran away with 13, and that's going to fill out that booyah for a little bit in equivalence. If you're now checking on Straw Hats against Fluxo W7M, pushes in right through the window, has the therapy with him. The Cassie by his side along the Oscar, a classic combo to go up front, up close and personal. Troll from afar actually taking out Straw. So Straw has attention being divided. They need a bit of help, but it seems like this sandwich might be too much as SAQL and Fluxo W7M are going to be their undoing. Straw have been wiped out.
That was an opening for Fluxo, and they're going to be happy. They put Straw Hats completely out of the game. SAQL Esports ended up becoming a wonder of a blessing for them. That is added on eliminations. Yes, one of the players got 1 elimination on Straw Hats, but the other 3 were all taken away. Now Team Secret want to do the same thing. They have a total of 11 eliminations right at the edge of the circle. With the same position even goes for Twisted Minds. And that is the reason we can see the inclination coming in from Team Secret to take out Twisted Minds as soon as possible.
And it has been working wonders for them, right? They picked up the pace. Game 1, they played slow and they fell in the hands of Fluxo. But this time, they amp up the tempo a little bit. And Fluxo, surprisingly, doing the same. But the eliminations hasn't been reflected just yet. We're still looking at 5 for now, but with 8 teams remaining in this lobby, there's a very good opportunity for some of these teams to rack up a couple more takedowns. And SAUL is one of them, but Tro getting pinned down by PLS1. How did they get out of this predicament? The blue zone is behind, Team Secret is in front, and it seems like it will be easy pickings, like shooting fish in a barrel. Twisted Team Secret with 13.
Twisted Minds, they are also in trouble. But Exposy, he wants to trouble Team Secret. While they did pick up eliminations, they're looking good. But Jump's been lost, the man who brought the players back up. Toll Gaming on the other end, they are going down to their knees. The fight against Vitality not working in their favor. But Sipeng and Dix are also down. So Team Vitality, they have another challenge. That's going to be Lion on one end and Fluxo on the other. And Lion are taking an advantage on both the teams of Vitality and Total Gaming, and finally put an end to their run on Solara. But Koja, he's going aggressive. He finds MT7 over there. Will not be able to confirm yet because he had to step out of the zone.
It's going to be crunch time right now. Hong Out actually takes out Jakos right before that glue wall comes out. And Team Secret might have just broken open Lion's defenses. They get the pickup still, but it means resources have been spent. And Team Secret in a very strong position to make it further. Joe now needs to poke it for safety and will do so for now, but PLS1 catches him from behind, and that's Team Vitality removed from the lobby. 5 more teams remain. Team Secret, 14 eliminations and counting.
I'm seeing a lot of M60 being used. They are pummeling these bullets to their enemies, looking unstoppable. And that's what Team Secret is just rallying one after another, rounds after round. And Lion now, they make a jump. A big launcher coming in from Hacks, and he puts the side of Fluxo out.
Cascading damages. Fluxo walked into a landmine, and Lion comes in with a grenade launcher. And they are the ones that get the voucher of and reap the rewards of what has been sold by the opponents. But right now, out into the open is Twisted Minds and Team Secret, waiting for the easy pickings, and they are done. Now Twisted Minds up against Team Secret, a 4v3 in favor of the Vietnamese.
Team Secret, we're expecting for them to start off on group and game one itself here for Group B, but they figured out how the play was from every team, and now with 16 total eliminations, all their 4 players standing, they're looking forward to a booyah. What they did in the SCA Grand Final Spring, they want to start off just like how we ended up seeing EVO's Divine. It seems like Team Secret have found the secret recipe.
And this is the identity that has been missing, same as Twisted Minds, who are still looking for who they were back in their prime, but Team Secret roaring to life, led by some of the brightest stars. T-Quay out in front, Ngan by his side, right the corner, dropped it onto the bars to narrow down the battlefield, exposing next on the list, and Diamond will be dispatched in just a moment. T-Quay around the corner, Team Secret with 19 eliminations and a booyah.
This is a big game coming in from Team Secret, and especially for Vietnam itself, to see their squad after just pulling off the SEA title, and now they're pulling it off here in EWC, here in Paris.
If there's any doubts whether Spring was a fluke or a stroke of luck, this should quell some of those questions. There's still more to be proven. This could still be the stroke of luck that people have been forcibly saying is part of the narrative. But if there's one thing there's a constant, is that Team Secret has some of the most gifted players. Since T-Quay joined the squad, they have been not the same, they have been different, but in a positive way. And in this case, even our side reporter, our colleague Yun Su, is going to be very happy with the turnout. Last time a Vietnamese team was in EWC, it was back in 2024 in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh. That was PE Sports, but they had a subpar performance. They missed out 25. Team Secret, they have a lot of weight on their shoulders, and they're starting it off good.
They are indeed. I think the game itself compared to game number 1 to game number 2 quickly changes, and you could see no desperation. It was just the holding off, the consistency, the commanding play that they had, right? We spoke about them. They were already at the edge of the wall. They could have taken a fight if they wanted it, and they could have jumped the wall, gone towards Twisted Minds. They could have moved towards either the fight between MIB Loss or Fluxo happening. They did not. They held their fort. They knew where the circle was shifting, and they gave that time. They knew when they strike for a booyah.
An eye for opportunity indeed, and that is perhaps the secret recipe. That's what's going to carry Team Secret all the way. But we also have fans from S8UL Esports right here in Paris, in the arena. There's still a lot more to give, of course. This is just the beginning of what is going to be a fantastic and adventurous journey for our teams in Group B. But I think in this case, we have MIB Los, Brazil starting off strong in game 1. We have Vietnam on the board in game 2. Now we're looking for the Indonesians and the Thais to make a splash in the upcoming games.
While you're looking at the SEA, I want to look at the South Asian team, Straw Hats. I did have high expectations. They should have started off really well, but it looks like they find initial fights, eliminations to convert, but then instantly when they get a challenge or forced to take a fight against somebody, they're not ready for it. And that wary situation of the unknown, they're not ready for it. Same goes for S8UL as well. Individually, we saw Troll, the magic coming in on the sniper. He is just too sharp so far. But as a whole squad, they're just not in the position that they want to feel comfortable in.
And I think it's just about getting that polish, right? Making sure that all the cogs turn in the same direction. I gotta give a special shout out to Al Ali Esports.
Oh, yes.
They had some great moments off screen. We might not see them on full display, but they were the ones that brought forth the downfall of Fluxo W7M in game 2. Of course, that was instantly converted by Lion right after that, thanks to that RGS from the side of the Latam representatives. But Al Ali, this is a team. The banner might be new, but the players have been here for quite a while. Reminds you folks, they've had a couple of attempts, so I can't wait to see what they have left to show us. But for now, we're gonna get a room of breather, and we'll be right back with more Free Fire action.
And we are back here on stage. I'm Carol Bombshell. Happy to be here with my friend Barney. He's the man, guys. And we are here with Iago, the sniper for Team Lows. Maybe our Lows, right, Barney?
That's right. Let's do this. Carol's gonna kick things off and ask us some very interesting questions. It's gonna be good.
Of course. Okay, Iago. So recent form hasn't been great. So How good does it feel to kick off at EWC with a Booyah? Ok, a primeira partida, a gente sabe que vocês não performaram tão bem quanto vocês gostariam nos últimos jogos, nas últimas partidas, apesar da final do Free Fire ter sido muito boa para vocês, né? Mas ainda assim não conseguiram levar o título. Como é que é para vocês chegarem aqui e já começarem com um Booyah aqui no EWC?
É muito bom.
Sorry.
É muito bom, é claro que todo mundo fica muito ansioso para jogar, então é muito importante a gente chegar com um Booyah já, que já tira aquele peso, tira aquela ansiedade toda, e a gente consegue jogar bem melhor e ficar mais de boa, tirar a ansiedade do corpo.
Okay, so for sure, start with a Booyah, give us such a feeling of relax, and we can get more secure about our game, and we have also a good chemistry all together. So we start with a Booyah at AWC, for sure, it's the best thing that we could have done today.
I mean, the synergy looks great, Yago. You guys look like performing really well. Let's stay on map 1, okay, because I want to talk about the final moments. You guys went up against Fluxo in that final showdown against your regional rivals. How did it feel after that map, realizing that you went up against them and you beat them? That must have been a nice confidence boost.
Basicamente, vocês chegaram no endgame junto com o Fluxo, então nós gostaríamos de saber qual que é o sentimento de chegar no endgame contra um time brasileiro também, e ainda sendo o Fluxo, que é um dos seus maiores rivais na Liga Brasileira, né? Então, qual que é o sentimento de conseguir um Booyah em cima deles?
Bom, primeiramente é muito bom, por conta que eles estão no final, é muito bom pra gente também, pra os dois conseguir a classificação pra final. E também é muito bom, né, ter aquela rivalidadezinha, tipo, do BR. E continuar aqui também vai ser muito bom e, se Deus quiser, disputar também com eles também.
For sure, it's really nice to have a Booyah over Fluxo, but most because it's really nice to have Fluxo in the end game with us, because we are, in the end of the day, both of the teams are Brazilians, and we do get good points together, but also we have this rivalry back in Brazil, and beat them here at the EWC feels very nice. Okay, Iago, for us to finish, you are known in Brazil as Thanos because of all the championship rings that you have won. Would you add a AWC title, take your legacy to another level? Você tá ligado que você é conhecido como Thanos no Brasil, né? Então, você acha que você garantir mais um título, especialmente do EWC aqui, ajudaria o seu legado a ficar cada vez maior?
Com certeza, meu legado já com certeza é muito forte. Ganhando a EWC em si fica inexplicável. Para mim já é muito inexplicável, mas é um grande sonho meu também, sonho do meu time em conquistar a EWC.
Okay, so win EWC definitely would add up at my legacy. In my legacy, of course, it will make me stronger in Brazil. I will have a stronger image in Brazil and in any another region that plays Free Fire, but this is my dream. I want to win a EWC. That's definitely my dream, and I will help my team win a EWC.
Well, after that first map, that dream can definitely come true. And with that being said, we are going to head over to a very, very quick... Well, we're just going to head over somewhere. We're going to come back very, very soon. Thank you so much for checking us out. Thank you so much, Yago, for joining us in this interview. We'll be back right after this.
It's the E-Cap, the EWC Cap, the Fire Esports World Cup. Okay, whatever it is, this is what happened in week 1. We crowned our first 3 champions, which means that we had even more losers. And God knows that I'm a loser. Wait, shouldn't this say that I love losers, not that I am? Can we fix this, please? But what happens when you lose? Well, you wind up here, the Boulevard of Broken Keys. Don't sing Green Day, don't sing Green Day. Every one of which represents a tournament elimination and crushed dreams. Losers live forever here, and if you listen closely enough, you can hear the voices of disappointed parents who said that playing video games is a waste of time. On the Valorant stage, 4 of 8 playoff teams were EMEA, and they managed to get 1 whole win. So move over, Europe, because the finals was 100 Thieves and NRG. That's right, all American, baby. These colors don't run, they soar. The Battle Royale of the Apex Legends final featured 20 teams, and no surprise, Team Falcons won. Wait a minute, no. They finished 8th. Sorry, it was favorite Team Liquid who... No, they finished even further back at 9th? Oh, because it was actually 2024 champion Alliance who... Oh, come on, who won? Unlimit? Sorry if I'm saying it wrong, but like most people, I've never heard of them. They beat every top contender to become the first Japanese team ever to win ALGS. This will also help them on the road to winning the club championship. Nope, never mind. That's their only team, and they're not even registered for the club championship. Still, my Japanese heritage is proud that we can produce both esports winners and heated toilets. Dota 2, or Dota Duh, as it's called here, started its first week of play with solid competition from... Sorry, actually, nothing of note yet. I'll have more on that next week. And finally, things were heating up on stage at Fatal Fury Wolf City. And I don't know if you're picking up on the theme here, but Dark Angel fought his way out of the losers bracket to top the regional favorites and get another win for North America. If only the Football World Cup had been so kind. Well, guys, what is happening? 3 tournaments and 3 new champions, no title defense, no favorites able to compete, and all underdogs at the top? I'll tell you what it is, because I've said it before and I will say it again. This tournament is about the losers. See you next week.
2 matches are done for Group B. We started off hot with Brazil, but in this second one, it was none other than Team Secret, Conchita.
Yes, finally. This is the Team Secret that I've seen grab that title of the World Series Spring, and I think the organization that they have, the way of playing is what gets them here and what gets them the booyah. It's about time, actually, because I was really waiting for them to perform really well, and they did not disappoint at all. I mean, look at that.
They definitely didn't disappoint. 7 eliminations there for Hong Am, and one team that I know you were keeping a close eye on, Lace, is none other than Twister Minds.
I mean, this team, I guess if we take you back sort of to the online, didn't look too great, okay? Not looking too hot, but... You know, they had a roster change, bringing in Diamond and X-Posy, and this was like almost caused a 180 for this team, and they are now in contention to sit in that sort of top spot. And I know me and Neptune were kind of like fighting on this before, like, I wanted to red Twisted Minds. If you saw that match 2 that they had to go through on the eastern side, I mean, they had an early altercation with MIBR, they had to retreat and regather on the eastern side, but that was kind of only thanks to RRQ, who came in and like, oh, I'm just going to be a little bit of distraction. They were able to sort of get away, and not just get away. Did you see that zone pull once in that final circle? I mean, they were sitting pretty. I was bound to see sort of a win there, but look, they did only have 3 players out of the 4, whilst, you know, they're going up against Team Secret with, you know, their whole entire squad. But the ability to adapt and change from Twisted Minds, don't leave them out of the conversation, guys, because they came to play, even in match 1 with like their 14 elims. They are... Neptune wants to talk, guys. I'll pass it over. He's just as excited as I am.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's one reason why I'm excited to talk about Twisted Mind. It's because they are different this time. Back then, it was just all aggression. They want to go for elimination, and now they're playing with survivability. And even with that, like Jump was just, as you mentioned, just going into the sides until he reached Windmill, went in for a revive, and then even in the final phases of the circle, like Twisted Mind is part of it. So this is not something that we often see from Twisted Minds.
Yeah, but speaking of differences, I'm actually a bit disappointed because we were hoping to see something more from Team Fatality, right? They are showing that being different is actually something that you can do to achieve a better result. But unfortunately, that's not what we see in the first 2 games. Right now, they are still kind of scattered at the 7th position overall with only 8 elimination points. That's kind of sad, actually.
Yeah, maybe they'll be able to turn it around. I mean, they are practicing something new. We were kind of hinting at it too. We didn't really know how it was going to go. Could have gone great, could have gone bad. But one team that did have a great performance there in that last match was Al Ali, Neptune.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they don't really expect that kind of performance, though. We're not aiming for the booyah yet. They are just going for elimination, making sure that they are consistent with their placement point. And there was like we're seeing a similar pattern here for those who are taking the top of the board. Just stay silent, make sure that you can go for elimination, aggression from a distance. That's what I can say. Go for those elimination out of the snipers. Just capitalize on that. I mean, Solar is one of that map, though you can move fast because of slide rails, but there's also a lot of elevation that you can work with to get all those eliminations.
I mean, you're talking about there, be aggressive from afar. Okay, all right, Vitality. I mean, you got two snipers. Maybe we'll start seeing that. One team that was able to actually be even more aggressive there in that second match was none other than RRQ, as we're going to be taking a look here at the overall ranking. Fluxo with 38 points. And Fluxo, honestly, Neptune, they started off hot.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're getting back-to-back squad wipe. I would say it was still a slow lobby. I would say for the first 2 or 3 phase, but you've seen how well they hunt their opponents. They know the rotation of what will be taken or needs to be taken to choose their fight. They're not going in a little bit too careless at that point, and that has been the strategy of Fluxo right now. And given that there's not so much of the giants, the titans, I would say that's part of Group A. Group B, they are just wrecking it.
Yeah, and I mean, if you know, we talked about that strong start from teams, right? Come out of the gate swinging, and that's exactly what Fluxo did. You know, 15 eliminations, I believe, in match 1, giving them that incredible strong start, and obviously showcasing that on the leaderboard. But Lilas, how can you not be hyped with what's going on for Team Fluxo behind us? Like, you know, we talk about the mentality of players, right?
Yep.
How could you not be hyped having this whole entire crowd just like playing drums and singing your song? Like, it's absolutely incredible, and it's working for them. Like, can I have a crew that follows me around with drums and slice when I'm napping, like wake me up and stuff? Can I get a production? Can I get that organized? Thank you.
They were absolutely non-stop during the matches. Right now, that's when they're kind of calm because they're being able to relax a little bit. But going back, we saw RQ there currently with just 13 points. I know this is one team that you were very high on, Conchita. How are you with their performance so far? You didn't want them to start off slow. They did bring it back in that second match.
Yeah, one thing for sure is that I think we really need to reconsider talking about our favorite team in the beginning of the show, because there is some serious jinxing going on. It happened with Aurora before, and now it happened with RRQ now. Like, what the hell? From now on, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. But yeah, in all seriousness, I think RRQ, well, the first game, obviously, it wasn't a great start at all. Being the first team to get sent back to the lobby was honestly quite embarrassing for a team in their caliber. But then again, it's what really lit the fire under their asses, I think. Because if we see what happens in the second game, I think they are getting slightly better. They are trying to learn more about their opponents. And that's what exactly what they did.
They're so humble. That's so nice. That's like, yeah, you guys get some limbs and we'll just get them late. What a humble team. We knew this from the start.
They're getting a breather. They're getting a breather.
Oh, wow. But I do think that they're learning a little from the mistakes that they did in the first game. And hopefully they're just going to keep climbing up the ladder. But for now, I'm not feeling it still. I am not. I mean, looking at the statistic itself, 9th position, 13 points, 13 elimination points. What the hell is that?
But then again, I mean, in Southeast Asia, they were dubbed the masterminds.
Yeah, the bomb.
That's a possible reason where she's coming from, studying their opponents and probably bring something in. But one thing that I want to see is, we've seen that in game number 2. Mal was left alone, even a sniper. He couldn't defend himself because he doesn't have the weapon. But on Clash Squad, where it's a different mode, he was practicing those CQCs. So if we can bring that to Battle Royale, then that's one thing that they can do. Just to make sure that they can survive and not be caught off guard, similar to what we've seen often happen, especially if there's snipers and one left behind.
Yeah, I keep saying that if EFOS has Russia at the center stage, I do believe that Mal should be given more chance to take the spotlight in RRQ, because he actually got what it takes. And again, he's also one of the youngest players that is playing for RRQ. So yeah, I think it's just a great opportunity for him to really shine and do what he's able to do best.
It could be just first game jitters. That's what we're going to throw up the first game too, because they did end up bouncing back on that second match. Now, as we're getting closer here towards the second half of their series, almost closer towards the end of day 1 of Free Fire at EWC 26, we do need to see a bit of a reaction. I know there's some other squads that we want to see a reaction, because we don't want to see what happened there earlier on with Group 8. I'm going to be looking. We just talked about them. Team RQ, Team Vitality. And Lucifer, I know you're currently looking as SAUL Esports. You gotta wake them up, Lucifer.
Indeed, I agree, Seven, that SHUL Esports have to pick it up because Troll individually has done big, but I think the entire name of the game, at least in Group B so far, is that you have to adapt. We ended up seeing Team Secret, who were very silent in the game number 1, instantly adapted to game number 2, and now they're all in, got their booyah already. Even Twisted Minds did not have a great start, but on the other end, Fluxo. So far, this entire lobby of Group B Husky hasn't seemed wayward running away from somebody.
And we have slightly tighter margins, right?
Exactly.
Like, it's not like after game 2, we see a very top-heavy lobby, which is very good, because I think even up to the 7th and 8th spot, there's a pretty good chance that they can make it in the top 4 by the end of this evening. Speaking of which, I do, want to bring out some of the points that our experts have kind of put out on the table. I think, RQ, I gotta say, Conchita, my heart goes out to you. 3rd time could be the charm.
Could be.
It could be the charm. Vitality, though, that still looking for that magic, right? Again, I think Solara has always been the map that I look forward to for Team Vitality, because I feel like that is sort of what is going to light the fuse for them to come online. But in this case, it was completely extinguished in the mid-game, and now it begs the question of where else is Vitality going to able to kickstart that engine?
One thing that we know where we are heading here for game number 3, that's going to be towards Purgatory. Whereas heaven or hell, it's time for teams to show up. And maybe, as Seven mentioned, SHUL Esports, they rise to the occasion, picking up eliminations. Yes, like how RRQ did, it's also time for placement points.
Placement points integral if you want to talk about potential tiebreakers at the end of the day. Very rare occasion, but it's always good to have some insurance policy. And in this case, I'm looking forward to see if teams are going to go to Moat House, because when we saw Group A, no teams actually like to go there. You play around the perimeter on the southern side of the Moat House, but if I remember correctly, memory serves, Twisted Minds should go north side, and in this case, they have company in the form of Mia Corp.
Now, Mia Corp have not had a great start so far. They're looking at around 6 points, similar to what Straw Hats. I think these are the only 2 teams that are a little bit of an offset compared to the entire 10 lot that we have, who are looking closer, tighter, as you already mentioned, and the fight already breaking out between these 2. Looking at it, Twisted Mind should have the upper hand, and there it goes. Diamond, he already gets the opening. And that's the very first elimination. But a quick answer back by Nyx. But can he pick up the elimination? Can he confirm it? That's going to be crucial. Kappa trying to use the chrono and confirm the elimination, but it's not working in their favor. They're about to lose another, and Kappa also goes down. More players from Mia Corp dropping one by one in the hunt for just to pick one elimination against Twisted Minds. But finally in the opening, Diamond is down, and Nyx answering back towards the sides of Twisted Minds.
This is going to be a tough one, but Jump actually gets eliminated by the AK-47 of Nyx, and he comes out Prevail. Now has to take that car away. SHUL showing up to the occasion, blows up the vehicle, and unfortunately there's no escape route this time as he pays with his life, but at least there is some significant damage dealt to Twisted Minds as they are down to their last member, and we did discuss about this. They love Moat House, but in this case, they are trapped at Moat House.
One thing for sure, just like how we ended up seeing this fight, is you cannot be weighing the scale on just one team. It could change within the blink of an eye. Twisted Minds had the upper hand over there, but instantly turned around Mia Corp, and now SHUL Esports. And similarly, Total Gaming have to do some magic right as now. Spotting the player, Joker from Lion, breaking the glue wall open. Not the best weapon for Aztec, but he had his teammate on the other end, and Vota pushing him into his crosshair, and they find the knock. Confirmation to follow as well. And Total Gaming this time going a rather aggressive approach at the very start, finding the next knock as well, and that's going to be Aztec.
Sets it up for Vota and confirms one himself as well. Total Gaming up to 2, hacks the third one to get chased down with his Mafia with the Car 98. So make it 3 for the Indian team. But the job is not done just yet. They might have weathered the storm and sent Lion packing temporarily, but RRQ has just shown up in the compound, attracted by the gunfire, the noise of bullets flying in the air. And let's see if Total Gaming can hold a candle to the Kings of Kings.
It is going to be tough. Of how we ended up seeing RRQ without getting any point, going down in game number 1 and instantly in game number 2, 13 total eliminations. If they had placement points, they'd have looked at the top 5. And now they have an opportunity. But Total Gaming, they took an aggressive foot forward. Can they continue that is something that we have to wait and approach for. But Ali, this team from the very beginning have been surprising every squad and now challenging Fluxo, taking the player but Sin down. And Fluxo in trouble. MT7's also spotted. Hawk will try to take him down with his crosses. Sneaking through. Can he find the hit on the car 98? But no, so far. And somehow Fluxo will be able to make a run.
And RQ has done some significant damage to Total Gaming. Two of them go down! But Mafia responds in kind and gives himself the third RR kill, shattered in an instant.
Everybody who watches Total Gaming in India, they know what Mafia is capable of. If he is in form, the entire squad will rally with him. And it seems like in game number 3, they've decided. And Maal, again the last man. Neptune spoke about this. Being a sniper, the last man is not at all the best. To play it. If that Suzy passive works out, he has a lot of coins. He does it at this point, but that's only 1300. Not a full squad revive, but he'll still manage to do something because it's the early game.
Yep, and he's forced to backtrack as well because you have Bunny from SA Duel Gaming on that low ground. No vending machines inside Maal. With the weight of the entire team on his shoulders, just like the previous game. He's done it once, but there's only a limit to how much revives he can bring back before the weight crushes him. Check back with RQ in just a little bit. Straw has now showed up the compound of Mia Corp, who are just vacating that spot, but you gotta look back at this moment when Maal gets the setup to his team, finds 2, but immediately the response came in from Mafia to get even more damage done.
Wait, Maal? He takes the zip line, heading back. RQ, he did not get the revive. Yeah, this was a very risky approach. Shanky, if he knew that was happening through the zipline, he could have taken him down. But Maal making a run. Shanky has spotted him, but I think he will be able to manage. No! He gets close! Oh! Just in time. Rans and Duds get picked. And they're back in action. They'll be flying up, but almost Shanky got him. And he would have taken that knife and driven through RRQ and out of this game.
Yeah, by his deathbed, he brings 2 of his teammates back and keeps the heart of RRQ beating. And for now, Maal has done his duty, and it's up to both the captain and the young gun to keep that legacy going and see if RRQ can make it further down the road. We're looking at a total of 16 points for now, barring, excluding the placement points. Vitality also, another team that we're looking for magic. And I can't believe I'm saying this, Lucifer. When we came into today, and I thought that EVOS is going to be the team that struggles the most out of the 3 Indonesians, but that was not the case, right? EVOS, even though we've only won Booyah, did finish top 4 in Group A. And right now, it's Team Vitality who are struggling the most.
I think we were having this discussion, right? When we were talking about maybe they also themselves were telling us that maybe it was just an experimental phase down in SES Spring. And it actually looks, they are able to deliver results here on the EWC stage.
Part of me actually didn't want to believe it. I thought that they were. I thought it was an excuse.
Yeah.
Apparently not.
But no excuses for Twisted Minds. They almost had control of it, and this time they're taking an approach to a couple of the isolated players from Straw Hats who went all the way to Moathouse. Not an approach that we've seen in the recent times of Free Fire that anybody heads in that direction. An isolated, desolated land of Moathouse, but Straw Hats, they think that's the safe haven because they are losing players. As you can see, Twisted Minds clear their position at the edge of the shore, and Straw Hats had to go for another revive, get the player back up, and the circle, thankfully for Twisted Minds, move north.
Yeah, actually a blessing in disguise. There's one. They're gonna drop with the reminder, so Al-Ali will have to halt their rotation for now. And Team Secret, they're not gonna wait. Riding off the momentum of Game 2, where they had a fantastic sequences of events that led to the Booyah. Let's see if they can feed off of that energy. As Al-Ali, they've shown us that they can fight, and they will fight back.
They will. They've been at the top of the charts, but so do Team Secret want to get in that direction. This time trying to try and find an opening. So far they've not found. Rather they've found and received damage. They've been forced to back off. And there is it. TQ has been taken down. Now on 7, he's also been spotted. Oh no! He doesn't get anything to say. Had the launcher in the hand and will be launched back into the lobby. Nothing else. Now on 7, he's also spotted. Went to the vending machine and he turns it around with the help of Fearless Swan. And Team Secret, they bring it back.
PLS1 with the build out in the last second to cut down the ranks of Al Ali, who seemingly had an advantage, but falls in the hands of PLS1 as he locks in an ace for his team. The 6th point in this game and the first team to wipe out Al Ali in this lobby.
That was not thought of. I was Al Ali almost looking in control, but anything can happen is what Group B is the game of.
I can't believe it. PLS1 left to his own devices and was able to work magic.
Exactly.
3 consecutive shots to take down 3 individual rushes, running at his teammate. That is the kind of support that we need. That is what defined this current meta, where snipers are everything. They mold the world and they shape the results. And Team Secret now in a powerful spot.
And so is Lion. Rawan with that Winchester, picking up a couple in his name. Drop the player, quick on the confirmation as well. Team Secret, after finding a full-on wipe, they have another challenge right in front of them. That's going to be Fluxo, the roaring fans right here in Paris. And now they have a challenge in front to try and push out Team Secret. It's not been easy. From game number 2, the pacing, and especially after what PLS1 did. And look at his position. I don't think they have an idea about it. And if he starts hitting, and he does, M80 to B, he puts Bobs down, and trouble already striking for Fluxo. And they cannot get closer. Bobs wants to get closer to his teammate Butson, but that's not going to happen because there's the Bolt Maker also called. Could be trouble here for Fluxo, but there might be a disguise of blessing by Twisted Minds if they decide to take a fight with Team Secret.
Potential 3-way fight here. Team Secret having a bit of a compound to work with, and on top of that, a vending machine right at their doorstep. So any emergency supplies or revives can be achieved. And Fluxo now going to step on the gas. PLS1 out of there with the launch pad to reconvene with the rest of his team and complete the rendezvous. So dodging a bullet, but putting themselves in the vicinity of Twisted Minds. But fighting one team is better than 2. Fluxo could take this opportunity to get a couple of free points.
That was one of the smart moves coming in from Fluxo to make sure that they go behind the sniper and not give him position. And now Twisted Minds have the advantage of it because all the players from Team Secret have been crunched. They've been forced to be together, and Twisted Minds like this. Diamond on the flank. He spots the players, but Fluxo, KO! He puts Diamond down from afar. This is the problem. When you let another team take control of a position, especially in the circle, they feel a lot more confident. And now Fluxo, that's what they're feeling. Now they're chasing the players. Bobs, the man who was knocked by Team Secret, is now wanting to revenge for that action.
Yeah, Fluxo really pushing forward right now. They had control of the safe zone. They could play gatekeeping, but they wanted more. And in this case, thankfully for Team Secret, nothing of value was lost. Even the vehicle wasn't completely wrecked, so they could rotate up to the high ground. And in fact, right now, because the circle doesn't hurt as much just yet, Team Secret could set up shop on this high ground and actually scout out the area before making a future rotation. There's also a zip line that they could utilize in times of emergency, but the decision will be made to cross past the northern side of the map and get around both Twisted Minds and Fluxo.
This fight has been going back and forth. Twisted Minds trying to kind of itch towards Team Secret and Team Secret as well. It happened in the previous game, but right now it has to conclude because if Twisted Minds do not get taken down, then it's going to be Team Secret. Flash Freeze being used, the dash coming out from the bars, but he couldn't find an opening, and there PLS1, he turns it around. He puts the player Diamond down and he's in trouble. Jump the bars as well as Exposy need to do something, but it's only Exposy who finds PLS1, but maybe it's a little too late.
A bit of a consolation prize right there for Exposy, but still the rest of Twisted Minds have already been eliminated, and Exposy joins them in the grave. And Team Secret finds another wipeout here. First starting with Al Ali and now following it up with Twisted Minds. They should have no problem bringing their teammate back. There's a vending machine right in front.
Yep.
And right in the safe zone as well. And they can't get there on time. Seems like everything is laid out for Team Secret to potentially make it to the final stage again.
Could be a back-to-back. Not something that we've not seen. We've already seen in Group A that happened. Maybe Team Secret try to replicate the same with their own. And there is the revive. But on the other end, Fluxo, it seems like they've found players from SATUL and they're troubling them. And on top of it, RRQ find Mia Corp. And that's going to be an end for Mia Corp. They've not been having a great start at all here in Group B. They've been at the bottom of the charts. They need to pick up pace, but Fluxo, they've been picking it up. They're at already the top of the charts. The only thing that they're missing is the Booyah. Game number 1, they're very close. Game number 2, they couldn't. They got taken down. But now, if they fight Team Secret and put them down, the challenges for Booyah will be swept out.
And this is round 2. They put Team Secret in a very uncomfortable spot, but Team Secret conquered that hurdle and now are back for revenge. Gio with the push on forward, Gluon goes down, but instantly from Captain Bobs at the setup, and Fluxo have cut Team Secret down to just PLS1, who was brought back early on. But can PLS1 get the build out again? Doesn't seem like it is going to be a reality this time. Fluxo coming out on top.
PLS1 again quickly running away. He was the saving grace. Yes, an ace was found, but now no challenge for him to take the player down. He had to go out of the zone. An extra effort that he has to put and win it out. But on the other end, the team who's putting a lot of efforts after getting their very first booyah here in Group B. That's going to be MIB a loss. They did lose out a player, but they already have 8 eliminations. Playing inside the circle, but Koja with the duel puts the last player of SHL Esports down. It's not working for them yet. They've not found their winning ways. These young guns are missing their player, their captain Prince, and they are not able to yet adapt in such a highly competitive pace.
And a different story for Team Vitality this time, racking up double digits in terms of elimination as Yago cleaned up the remnants of Team Secret. No more back-to-back this time. 5 teams remain. Fluxo looking incredibly healthy, same as Vitality, as both teams have gone on a tear. But there's a very good chance that we see RQ run up the causeway and into Total Gaming, who are controlling both areas. MT7 finding a sneaky one from behind. Abai right into the fire. And of course, gets the burns to a crisp.
That was a very quick save coming in, and that's the reason I was talking about how crucial Mafia is. He lets them all rush through and back again into the game. All 4 men standing, Total Gaming ready for this Final 4 standoff. MIB are lost are the only team who have a 3-man playoff that they have to go against the 4 lot of all the survivors we have.
Will be the first time on the world stage that a team from India gets a booyah, and how close are we to that, Lucifer? Dreams can come true, and we take it a step at a time. Total Gaming has to face off against MIB Outlaws, and Haone is the one that gets the upper hand. The Winchester, Zebank, up against Fluxo on the other end. VSS doing a magic there, but Shanky has been brought back up. The nades now come true. Riptide Rhythm unleashed. Yago in danger, but still putting up a bit of a resistance to pin down the members of Total Gaming, but they're in the face of MIB Outlaws. General takes out Water. The members of TG cut down to just 3.
General bringing it down to a 3v3, troubling Total Gaming, and now Total Gaming with the zone closing in. They are forced out of space. MIB are lost, are able to hold their own. Aztec gets taken down by Yago with the sniper. Confirmation coming through. Shanky a little too late to just find a knock there. And MIB are lost. For India, who wanted to see if there could be a booyah, they put those dreams to rest for now. And MIB are lost, are not stopping there. Yoga, again once more, picks up on Budzin. That's going to be on Fluxo. And MIB are lost, might be looking forward to another booyah. And Yago already at 7 total eliminations.
And Koja speeds up that process. The nade takes out Bobs. And unfortunately, Diggs is now going to be in the crosshairs of MIB Outlaws. Haone with the rush as well. Team Vitality, they actually have more members. Diggs with the rush through. Getting tagged, but not down just yet. Yago with the confirmation. Someone needs to stop this guy. He has won a world championship in this manner, and the Team Vitality is letting him run loose. Yago again. With Fim on the Sabank, looking for a conversion. General leads the charge. Team Vitality getting picked apart, and everything set up by Yago. MIB Outlaws with the second booyah.
It looks like Brazil is here in EWC for the title, taking it away from SEA, taking it from any other region because they've been looking for it. They have conquered the world stage once, but EWC is something that they've been missing for a long time. And what a game coming in from MIB Outlaws, especially Yago. That man to hold his own on the sniper when players are rushing. 8 total eliminations on his own.
Insane performance. Last year, when Los was on the cusp of victory, they were the only team from Brazil that had a chance to win Champion Rush. They were denied. But that time, Yago wasn't with them yet. And he could be the missing piece. He was what won Magic Squad that FFWS Global Finals in 2023. He was the one that showed that Skylar still has value when everyone else has forgotten about that character. 2024, he got dispatched, not a part of Fluxo. MT7 took his spot and won that trophy. But right now, under the banner of MIB Outlaws, he is reminding everyone who he used to be.
This is just incredible to pull off like this, and especially when we have teams who want to make sure that they get their very first booyah. There might be a loss already, having two of their own. And look at it. It just seemed like point and shoot for him. That was the POV for us. It didn't look like he had a bit of an hassle. He had to look for opponents. They were right in front, just put up the scope, and the players were taken down one after another. And you can see the happy faces of MIB. A loss. That's another victory that they get for themselves. A booyah that will be written in their overall rankings to put them on the top of the charts.
They've technically already won the tiebreakers in a way, right? 2 booyahs is not easy to achieve, but if there's a team that has put ahead, I think we just found it. MIBR lost. Really just incredible performance, right? We were looking for teams to hit the ground running, but we are also looking at the same time for them to close out strong, because that what matters the most. And I think MIBR, they have the recipe for both of their category.
Yeah.
They hit the ground running, and they've closed out strong 3 games in a row.
Right now, see, we've done with almost the halfway, if you want to call it. Yes, we have 12 games in total, but at least for day 1 of the group stages, Group B has played their 3 games. They should have understood the whole lobby. Now, if you take one team out, there's 11 other teams that they have to understand of what they need to do better off. And let's hope they start doing better, because right now, they are taking a quick breather, and they will be jumping back into the lobby. So you guys don't go anywhere.
We book Esports World Cup up.
We're between some of our matches right now, so I decided to run up here and catch up with Nonstop Gaming. Talk to me a little bit about what it's been like co-streaming here from EWC 2026.
Yeah, I think the setup is literally crazy, and the vibe of the whole stadium is literally good. And this is the first time, like I streaming, this time I selected for the co-stream, and this is the first time. And you know, the 3 Indian teams are there, and hopefully they will do very good. We are expecting a very good matches. Let's see.
All right, now tell me what it's been like being in Paris this year.
Yeah, I think, I mean, might be it's about we are lucky that the Bastille Day, I think yesterday we saw the Eiffel Tower and the fireworks and the many, yeah. There is a very good show, and we have been like, we are very lucky to have the EWC and the same thing happening in the, I think, around same date.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, you can be biased in this question, okay?
Okay.
Who is your favorite to win the whole thing here for Free Fire?
I think for sure, I want that our team will win. So we have 3 teams, Asset 12, IQ Gaming, and Team Apex Gaming.
Yep.
So I don't for Team Apex Gaming, it's not a very good start, but hopefully they will come back tomorrow, because today we score only 41 points. But let's hope for best for the Asset 12 and IQ Gaming, because I think they did a very good start, but we have 4 games remaining. So let's see.
We still have not only 4 games remaining in this, but lots of gameplay left so far in Free Fire. So we'll have to see how everybody does. And I don't want to take you away from your chat for too much longer. So thank you so much for chatting with us.
Thank you.
You know, enjoy the rest of the series.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, it's Tyson Kachita here to bring you more of the storylines from Free Fire. And I think Buriram United Esports better watch out, because MIBL just got their second booyah.
Yeah, that was amazing. 3 games and 2 booyahs. That is quite something for MIBR. But also, we need to talk about Team Secret, because for a second there, I thought this was going to be their game. They wiped out Al Ahly, and then they wiped out Twisted Minds. And And if I remember correctly, they won the FFWS Spring 2026 by getting consecutive booyahs, back-to-back booyahs. And I thought it was something that they would actually achieve again on the third game. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case because BR are surely the strongest contender now.
And I mean, Team Secret and Twisted Minds kind of are forming this little bit of rivalry, if you've noticed. In those first couple of matches, it was them in that final zone. Then in that previous game there, they had an altercation in kind of the northwestern side as well. But it looks like Team Secret just have that little extra secret sauce to be able to take out Twisted Minds, and they don't seem to get their footing.
Yeah, but speaking of MI, BR, once again, that last circle. Girl, that was so intense. That was crazy intense. And to see that they're now at the 4th place with 31 points, 18 elimination points. I think you're right. Buriram United Esports better watch their back. I mean, we still got 3 games to go. Anything can still happen, right?
And if we've seen it in Free Fire. So, you know what? I feel like it might be happening. Can they get a 4th? I don't know, it's going to be a little bit exciting, but to be able to achieve that sort of thing in the starting rounds, I mean, MIBL, y'all better be watching them because 3 booyahs is coming their way. But of course, I know we're very much itching to get into those next matches. Lucifer, do you think MIBL is going to be able to achieve that 3rd booyah?
Yes, there could be another opportunity here for MIBR. They've been looking really good. And the action that they brought in, they've put themselves on the top of the charts. A total of 62 points, 37 eliminations. And as you guys already pointed out on stage, that maybe Buriram might have to watch out. Yes, Evo's Divine, they're not have to be worried about, but a close competitor very soon.
Yeah, very, very close. In fact, MIBR was actually a big competitor to BRU last year in Ria.
Yeah,
you know,
there you go.
It's coming together, baby. It's coming together. That's what makes Free Fire such a competitive and fun esports title. A lot of times, and that's why it's hard to escape the allegations that, hey, we predetermine some of these things. As I gotta say, it's so intertwined right now. You can step on any part of the machine and something will fall into place. But one thing that has yet to fall into place is where do we place RQ again?
I'm not sure. I think we have to ask Conchita as well as Neptune again because they've been the ones who've been talking about it. And hey, I don't know if there's a jinx, but maybe something that we will look later towards. But I think there could be an opportunity where RRQ now recover, right? They've had an idea what Team Secret is doing. MIBR lost on the other end on a spree. Looking forward to Yago of how he's been sniping across, and Fluxo almost getting to all the top 4s in the final fights.
And we did say that the second half of the matches for Group B theoretically should be ID favored. Theoretically should be RQ and Team Vitality that gets put under the microscope again. Nextera, Kalahari Nextera. It starts with here. And honestly, I think on Nextera, I look at RQ. We're not looking at number 1 placement stats, but it's good enough, right? It's good enough to suffice for RQ to give us something to be happy about. I think same for Team Vitality. Lion going over the Intellect Center, a very less desired spot. But we also have S8UL against Straw Hats. Actually, Straw Hats are very spread out.
Yeah, it's a very unfortunate, very early clash that we're seeing at Deca Square happen right now. And Straw Hats are already looking at the bottom, and it seems like it could be trouble. But as we look at our stats, we can see S8UL are the ones who are dropping the numbers, and S8UL, they are also close to those bottom 2 that we've been talking about. And teams need to now start worrying, because as we have reached the halfway mark, if everybody doesn't start jumping in to figure out if they start losing points, it is trouble. They'll miss out on opportunities. They'll miss out to getting back towards the top 4 or at least staying in the 10, because if they're in the bottom 2, they will be eliminated.
Yeah. I think at least in this case, we saw a bit of a disengage. That spot was taken over by RRQ as they fill in the void. So now RRQ is Straw Hat's problem. S8UL escaping with 1 remaining member. Pincer Tech coming in. We get a quick replay of this earlier clash that we saw on the radar. And unfortunately, S8UL just hit the ground running slightly slower.
Yeah.
And the Mini Uzi can make a lot of difference in this early game. And unfortunately, these 1v1s didn't really go in favor of S8UL. Straw Hats coming out on top with 3 points. 4 points, in fact.
I think there was a better rebound between the players of Straw Hats and especially their abilities, their skills coming into play. But right now the action keeps striking. Straw Hats did not have enough time to get back their resources to go for the fight, and RRQ, they had enough time. They're picking up the players. They confirm 2 of them and get 2 eliminations. Nil is also stuck, Riptide Rhythm, and that is going to be his defenses blown open. And with that, that's going to be a 3rd elimination. And we were mentioning, where do we place RRQ? This is where, always looking at eliminations, they somehow find it. Placement points is something that they have to add on to this aggression.
I mean, they're the masterminds after all, right? Maybe they have some grand plan that we haven't figured out just yet. And for a good reason, because if we figure that out, we probably would know the results. Maybe India Multiverse RRQ.
Yeah.
Somewhere out there in the wild, they have it all planned out. But Team Secret is a team that started off slow, but the past 2 games have had great performances. Maybe not so great in Game 3. They did kind of fumble in the middle, but we also got to give props to the teams that took them down, right? MMBR was quite the force. Total Gaming as well, finishing 4th on that map. As I say, Total Gaming, Mafia shows up on the feed, taking out Bunny. Fluxo also in that altercation. As Diamond gets gunned down as well. Team Secret with the 3rd.
It seems like a lot of flurry eliminations are happening. Vitality also picking up on Fluxo, MT7 out of the play, but instantly Vatsin gets the player revived. So it's just back and forth for the time being, and the player who just got revived just got picked mid-air. So Fluxo have another effort to add on to go to the vending machine. But Mafia, the man who picked up the elimination, spots another opponent right in front of him. Riptide Rhythm being used, but Extra, he's better because he had the max 7 and his teammate as a backup. And Mafia's down. So Total Gaming having this separated approach did not work for them to get another additional elimination. However, Straw Hats seems like they're recovering. They've had 5 eliminations so far at the start of this game.
And the revives keep on coming, right? We've seen so many bodies drop, so many points acquired by different squads, and yet we still have 43 again. It's gonna cycle. We're gonna cycle through these numbers for a while. As Jump finds a trade with him and a T-Quay. Team Secret, losing our number just a little bit. In the last game, they had to rely, and they could rely on PLS1. And here comes the savior. Diamond has that location locked down. PLS1 deny the pickup. It's still gonna come in onto it. The shoulder is showing. And fully denied. Twisted Mice this time will not let Team Secret walk away scot-free.
Unfortunate. 2 different angles in Team Secret. They get troubled. TQ as well as Nan7, they're the last survivors, and I think he might be taken down. Nan7 is also spotted. Diamond with his AUG puts him down, but the trouble is not done yet because Miyacorp, they entered into this fight. They want a bet in terms of eliminations because they've not had a great game so far in the start. 3 games done. This is game number 4. Miyacorp need to get back to those eliminations, need to get back to placement points, and they've found 3 so far. And Twisted Minds, they've now taken a little bit of a silent approach with the boss. I know he is worried and spots the player while he was completely unwary of another team being available or for a fight, and instantly the boss puts him down and Miyacorp suffer a loss. But another team who suffered a big loss is going to be Team Secret, who are now swept out.
The boss now finds a second challenger, which is Nick. And he turns around and finds Josper. Another body slam in the face of Miyacorp. But the boss is hit on a one-man mission. John Wick style here. Can Nick find him though? I mean, the boss could still do some heavy damage, and all with the absence of his teammate. So can you imagine the amount of chaos they could rain on Miyacorp when the rest of Twisted Minds complete that rendezvous in that area? MIBR lost, playing on the outskirts this time, at the coastline. SAUL in front of them, and Rick B relays that information. The Dynaucleus spawning slightly ahead, confirming the presence of no one. So now they can focus on the members of SAUL.
Oh no, big trouble. SATL Esports already receiving big damage. And everybody lost it closer than they think. Rick B, he puts the player down. He knew what was happening. So he had already gotten closer to the haystack. And as soon as SATL decided to maybe go for a flank, the player instantly gets shut down. And Troll and Jack are now stuck in a building. Bunny way too far to help out. Troll will be taken down. Jack will be very soon found out. And Bunny, all he can do is run away, go for a revive. But Jack, he's thinking he wants to step out. Maybe look forward to an approach if there is save. But I don't think there is going to be a save button here for his teammate. All he can do is try to buy time for Bunny.
Yeah. And as long as Bunny can get out and get that revive, his job is done. Jack putting up a valiant fight. The result goes over to MIBR lost 10 eliminations already. Just short of minute 7. We just see the standout player, Yago, in the previous game, who clocked in 9 eliminations on his own. so far, I mean, MIB Outlaws have been outclassing Fluxo, right? I mean,
Yeah.
as much as, again, I'm big fan of Fluxo, big fan of the legacy. Recent times, MIB Outlaws, ever since the loss in Riyadh last year, has really fueled something in them. To see the fire burning. And not to mention with Yago's addition to the squad, this team has powered up.
Big time. And we might be looking forward to another opportunity for MIB Outlaws. We saw the stage also talking about the same thing, but one team that I do want to see who have opportunity is going to be Lion. And now they've spotted Joel. And he was just out in the open, running across these tracks like he owned it. And Lion instantly put him down. In this game, Lion also has 4 eliminations. Seems like they are trying to move in the direction of finding a lot more elimination. But I'm surprised that we've not yet seen any elimination from Gamez.
Slow now just because we still have 39 players in the lobby. We cycle through plenty of reincarnations at this point. We've only lost 2 teams, Straw Hats and Team Secret. Everyone else pretty healthy.
This lobby of Group B itself tells you of how different from Group A this entire set of teams are.
Yes.
Because there, everybody was very hungry for eliminations, fights, back and forth. But here, everybody wants to read each other, understand each other, because they all know elimination is not the biggest threat, but it's about going into the finals directly. You mentioned about it. Miss that survival stage 10 games and walk into the finals, prepare better strategies and be ready for it. That's what they're eyeing for, and that is getting difficult for some of the teams to figure out, even though we are at game number 4.
Yeah, even when we look at the numbers, so far some of the accolades of these players, right? Yago, 3rd in line with the most eliminations. He has 13 in total, and 9 of the came from the previous game. Total Gaming now facing RRQ. Wota, who just came back into the lobby, got removed again. And Total Gaming's members cut down in half. Shanky might have to hold the fort here.
And they're not in the best of the position. Aztec, who just went in for the revive, his position's compromised. Fluxo are going in for the chase. Shanky, he can't do anything because if he steps out, then another casualty strikes. And there it goes. The players in mid-air, Al-Ali, they pick out Wota once more. So nothing is working here for Total Gaming. Aztec, the man who went for the revive, he will also be taken down. And the bell is not ringing in the favor of Total Gaming. They were closer in the previous game, but in this game, they're still not able to figure out what works in their favor. But Vitality, they had to figure out, made a jump, but right into the cross of Twisted Minds. 13 eliminations already, and they're looking forward to a lot more. And with the VSK, Exposy gets 1 more added to the team.
Bit of a distraction there that could give TG a breather to pick themselves back up and kind of put the pieces back together. But 11.5 minutes in-game time, there's really not much space to work around as Tech gets brought back. Twisted Minds looking at 13 eliminations. RQ sitting right across. And also Fluxo in the vicinity as well. We did see the circle earlier on, centering around Boxing Gym and Deca Square, where MIB Outlaws has basically hunkered down on the southern side of the safe zone. It could give them a good entry, get a couple of points under their belt, but I'm looking at Al-Ali again.
Yeah.
Last game was the only game that they didn't make it that far, but now, in the 12-minute mark, Al-Ali will have a good chance to prove themselves once more.
Right now, before Al-Ali, we have Fluxo, who have another challenge. They've always looked closer to a booyah, but they've never converted yet. This is game number 4, match number 4 that we're witnessing, and they still are trying to figure an approach where they'll be successful. But look at Lion. They knew that the flight with Fluxo will not work out in their favor. They wanted to rather be in the circle, quickly take the vehicle. Whether it gets destroyed or not doesn't matter at this point. Get to a compound, call it a safe haven so that you can fight out here on Nextera, because as we still see 12 minutes of the game, it's about to be 13. The circle's now slowly about to close in the next 30 seconds, and every team is going to be forced to fight out, and it's getting closer to Deca Square. And if the fight goes to Deca Square, it's just open lands.
Yeah, I mean, that's a gate crash if I ever seen one. But Lion keeps themselves safe, safely tucked in a compound that will keep them afloat for just a while. But this rotation of Twisted Minds might put them in front of MIB Outlaws. Total Gaming in a fight with Lion.
Oh, no.
And the jaws of the Lion clams down. Total Gaming eliminated in an instant.
This is the reason we were talking about the compound, and Lion were very smart to act about it. Total Gaming did start off, but it did not work out. And now, after Total Gaming, it seems Lion have found their jaws with the lock-on towards SATL Esports. The fight is a little too far that's happening, but they're still able to hammer them down. That tells you of what Lion's also looking forward to, a recovery of a game. But recovery is not yet happening for Mia Corp. Fluxo find the last man and they put an end to their run. And now RRQ also jump into this flagship battle of taking down SATL. On one end there is Lion, on the other end RRQ. Bunny gets hit, Noor right now in trouble, and Jack becomes the last man standing. Can he be the jack of all trades? I don't think that's an opportunity for him to ask or even deliver on in such a small position with so many teams still surviving.
You did say there's a risk of fights getting called out in open areas when the circle shrinks, and it's currently the reality that some of these teams have to deal with. As the circle starts closing in, the blue will force the movements of Lion straight into RRQ's compound. The Riptide Rhythm doesn't really dissuade them just yet, but big nade from Captain Dudes sets it up. Bobs also firing from behind with support from Gio on the high ground. Lion, no more.
Jack at least gets one in that mix, an additional elimination for SATL Esports, but Cobbs with that M60. Brilliant stuff being done, but SATL, they're not safe yet. The last man standing, Jack, he was initially kind of seen by Fluxo, but Fluxo, as the zone's closing in, they know they're not ready for this fight with Jack. They cannot just try to pin him down. Rather, they just jump in front, and Jack, he is peppering them down. Bobs is also knocked. Two players from Fluxo in trouble with a quickly recovery. Having that Thiva as an advantage does help you in the nick of time.
But Gio was able to find him at the very edge of it. And that was enough to take him out of the equation as we go down to just 5 teams, but all of them have the full squad left standing. Right out in the open is Fluxo and RQ ready to receive and challenge them up front. Abai leads the charge, and instantly RQ finds himself in the thick of it with a couple of knockdowns. Runs also steps up to the occasion. And the Jinners completely eliminated, and so does Fluxo.
RRQ. We were mentioning about them, talking about them, and now they place themselves in the top 3. This is what they wanted. They had placement. They did not have placement on their eliminations, but Yago, stop this madman from MIB a loss. He is just shooting players down like they're standing still targets. One more, Remind gets confirmed. And now MIB a loss in trouble as Maal finds General. Rigby close by, Rawan getting closer. Yago has to be the saving grace. He has to pull them from the jaws of death from RRQ.
And I think it's very doable. Hawk could also be the X factor. Rigby gunned down again by Rans. Simokes is there. Awali with his save. If they make it far enough into the game, they can be one of the contenders. And here they are in top 3. With less members to work with, but enough to threaten RRQ and give MIB Outlaws some breathing room. And this seems to be the reality right now. Those glue walls need to be taken care of because they need line of sight. And Hawk is making it incredibly difficult for RQ to focus on the task at hand. So Rez gets sent in to eliminate Hawk from the equation. And now MIB Outlaws makes it closer to the compound. But Ma'ao, great on his shot and right on the money, focuses down General. And MIB Outlaws down to just 2.
It's trouble. They tried to tread the land as fast as possible, use that distraction, but it still did not work out. There was only one knock, and Abhay and Rans are in front of the game. They're already super aggressive. Rawan has already received damage. What magic can Yago do? He's out in the open. This time his sniper doesn't sing of any songs to look forward to elimination. It's going to be RRQ, Rans and Duts finding the very first booyah for Indonesia.
And the captain holds the hands of the young blood and leads him to the first booyah on the world stage. And that is the exact motivation that you need for RRQ. And unfortunately for Ali, another heartbreaking loss in the final circle. And it's starting to show something that needs to be kept in check because we've seen them in the top 4. We've seen them at the podium, at least for the round itself. But it's about closing in out the game. We've seen the exact same performance from Dragons Esports last year. When it's not about the rotation, they're pretty smart about it, but it was about how you take those fights. And in this case, they are outgunned by their adversaries again.
As you can see, it seems like the plan over there in the last fight did not go in that direction. It could have been something else. They did not have to, or they did not intend to take the fight with RRQ, I think that's where everything messed up, and that is the reason we see the player a little bit heated up. That is not what we wanted to do. RRQ were already busy with MIBR loss. We had to just time it perfectly, and if Al Ahly did it, they could have an opportunity for their own booyah. But RRQ, we have to give kudos to them as well of how well they held themselves when the fight instantly turned from MIBR loss to somebody they did not even think that was so close by, and they held themselves. And instantly, on one end, how Fluxo, their fans have been roaring for so long. Now instantly it turns around to RRQ fans, and they are happy.
Yeah, I mean, again, you say that we have to stop Yago, and Yago was stopped in a different way, right? By eliminating everyone around him. But again, when MIBR took the opportunity of a distracted RRQ to make that rotation, RRQ, they understood the urgency, right? They took care of Al Ahly as fast as possible and made sure that they still have eyes on the rotation of MIBR loss, and that gave them more than enough resources and intel to get this booyah.
Now, with Al Ahly already performing in such caliber, right? This is not a game they have to be upset about. Yes, emotions are high because everybody understands that every game is going to be crucial. Even Seven was mentioning, right? Consistency is going to be very crucial when you're in the group stages, especially if you want to make it to the grand finals directly. And I think that's what Al Ahly thinks, and that is the reason we see emotions completely high at this time, especially of a game so close to a booyah. Nobody wants to miss or mess it up, and I think it does happen. That's what RRQ, for example, the first 3 games we barely saw them. 13 eliminations with the only explanation of RRQ being in the overall ranking. But now the booyah tells that there is chances of making a comeback. You have to just reset.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day is how you kind of finish the run, right? There's still chances left, and speaking of chances, we're gonna give this team some room to take a breather and readjust themselves for the upcoming game. So don't go anywhere, stay with us, we got more to come.
Welcome to Gdia City, an activation right in the heart of the Esports World Cup. And let's be honest, you can't miss it. It is so bright, it looks incredible. This activation, we have VR, we have consoles, and we have simulators that you can take part in. It's so much fun. If you're going to the Esports World Cup in Paris, make sure you come down here. And my friend Luti is over here, my stunning co-host. How are you feeling?
I'm into golf now because football is over for me.
Oh dear, let's not talk about it anymore. Let's see how accurate you can be in this golf simulator. If there's one thing that I know, it is being a dad, gaming, and golf. And so this is my third one. Let's see your accuracy on this one. 82.3%. Luti, let's see if I can beat you.
I hope for you. I hope for you. Okay, Barney, basically now it's your turn. And in life, you are doing 2 things. Hosting and playing golf. So hopefully you're gonna do better than me.
I mean, you're not wrong. If I don't beat you, I'll be really upset. I'll probably have to quit golf forever. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. Here we go.
It is your time.
It is my time.
Okay, that looks a little bit better than me, I have to say.
Yeah, the sword goes back in the sheath at 90%. Barney Banks absolutely bringing this one home. It's okay. You can focus more on golf. I'll focus more on football for now. But for now, Lauren and Lace, it's your time.
I hate football.
All right, Barney, you had to show off those golfing skills. But for everybody currently watching, don't forget to join the Esports Foundation Creator Program. Register on the EWC website. It's pretty straightforward. There's going to be a QR code at some point. Make sure you scan it. Join up, earn reward, score points, and we might end up interviewing you on the final day. And that sounds pretty sweet. So make sure you join it. There you go. There's the QR code. Go scan it right now. Because one team that has been able to step it up in a big way, especially this last match, RRQ. RRQ Conchita.
It's about time. Honestly, it's about time. And yeah, we still have 2 more games to go, right? So this is actually a good way for them to reset, to find that rhythm, to find that, I don't know, bond that they're finally showing. And again, like I said, Mal turned out to be the saving grace of the last game for RRQ, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Miles is one of those that at this point, I think even the pressure is not facing him anymore.
Yep.
Because there's so many times in the previous competition when he's going solo, he will just be going down that quickly. It did happen a few times from the earlier games, but now because he's the one who's bringing that energy to the table right now, I think there's a lot more that we can see from RQ.
Please don't talk to me about RQ.
Oh no,
They
because
kill lows. Girl.
No, honestly, Carol, I was concerned because I really thought that it was going to be another booyah for MIBR. I was like, enough!
It would have been the third one.
Yes,
Remember,
the third
at
one.
the beginning
Right?
of Group B, I asked, can anybody maybe mimic what Buriram? And we were saying it, honestly, in a joking manner. Because nobody expected to see what happened in Group A here in Group B. And Carol, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. The fact that that squad got so close, Brazil in Group B, they're looking good.
Oh my gosh, they are doing an amazing here at the EWC. And the funny thing is that during the grand finals in Brazil for Fire World Series, Brazil, they were almost the champions. The thing is, the format, the champion point, didn't give they the opportunity to have their final booyah and go for the win.
I think
But
that's
they
why,
were the best team of the day.
I think that's why we're seeing them just go after those wins. They want to make sure that when they go to the finals, they're going to be ready to get those booyahs. Because right now, it's working out for that squad. One squad, honestly, consistency. We were talking about it earlier, and we're seeing it once again here, not only with the step up of RQ, not only with the performance of Brazil, Ali. Oh, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, one of the players of Al Ali has been reminding us why they are champions of their region. I mean, it's just like refreshing that we're seeing one team that is keeping the balance of both placement and elimination, and it's bringing themselves higher in the table. Hopefully, it's high enough to get to that top 4 because there's a lot who's taking the top 3 right now, and the lead is increasing.
Yeah, but one thing that I did realize post-match was that there was an obvious tension at the Al Ahly table. Maybe there was some sort of miscommunication. Maybe there was a couple of bad calls between the players. So that's something that they really got to watch out for because consistency, it has something to do, obviously, with chemistry. So we have still 2 games left today. And let's see how they handle the stress now.
It happens, right? You don't want to see teammates starting to maybe not go the same path in the first day. To save that for the last day. Actually, don't even save that for the last day because then that will be finals. But the overall ranking, Los right now over Fluxo, Twisted Minds as well has been forming great. RQ, as we mentioned, Al Ali, all these squads are doing great. But talking about some tension out there, we got the Fluxo fans behind us, and I know that there's some tension between those 2 Brazilian squads.
Definitely there is this competition between Fluxo and Los. It's like, how can I say, it's romance that never ends. Yes, because we got Iago. Iago used to play with Bobs, Jill, and MT7 right now plays with the Fluxo, right? With Butzin as well. And Iago used to be their sniper. And then after the Free Fire World Series back in 2023, Iago left the team. And right now they got MT7, which MT7 is the best sniper in Brazil. And probably that makes Iago so mad that right now Iago is stepping up here at AWC, and man, he's the best player today.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, Iago, when last time we saw them, he was just making highlights of his own. And, well, I would say even when MT7 stepped into Fluxo, he's also making them win those fights. So, I guess with Iago, MT7 rivalry, or let's say for the team rivalry, they will be very close in there in the battlefield. There's still a lot of storyline that can unfold out of this, but judging from the scores that they managed to maintain right here, even before we end this day for this Group B, the lead is pretty much sure enough for MIBR loss. So I don't know what miracles will happen for the other teams who's trying to catch up, because imagine RRQ guys, I know they just had RRQ. They just had their booyah, but they're still far away, like around 27 points.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty hard for them to catch up, and I cannot deny the fact that maybe today will be the day for the Brazilian team. So, Carol, I think you can smile and be happy about that just today.
Is that good for you?
At least I'm admitting that today is really the day for MIBR lost as well as Fluxo. But then again, if we're talking about the rivalry, I'm not really sure. One thing for sure, though, Taylor Swift should really write something about those two, MT7 and of course Iago. It is a love story, a complete love story of Free Fire.
Or maybe Ariana Grande. Thank you, next.
They're trying to find out who's going to be big brother, who's going to be little brother. Iago definitely doesn't want to be little brother. I mean, we know his stature is going to be outside of this frame. From all these squads, I mentioned it earlier at the start of Group B, and we're just so close to it. I want to see where you guys stand on this. Does Los end up getting another booyah and goes for that 3, or is Fluxo gonna stop him? Carol?
Man, I think Los is stronger today, so probably I would say they would go for definitely for the 30 booyah. And one thing very specific about Fluxo is like they got this nickname in Brazil, the boogeyman of endgame, because they only go for endgame. What they are doing here today, going for eliminations, get more points for eliminations, that's not something they used to do in Brazil, because we like to say they do like skinny booyahs. Oh. Because it's booyahs with not a lot of eliminations, you know? So it's surprising to see Fluxo have this kind of performance here today, but definitely Los look stronger.
Hey, I like that input. Now, quickly, Neptune, is it going to happen or is it not going to happen?
I don't know, because so far for Fluxo, they did manage to get at the top 2 without any booyah, but if they can steal it away from MIBR lost and equalize it like 2-2 before the final, by the end of this day, then there's a lot of things that can happen at this point.
And Conchita, for you, I want a yes or no. Which one is it going to be?
I think I'm just here for the vibe. I'm happy with either of them. I'm just here for the drums, the music, and of course, I would be happy to see any Brazilian team take this.
Let's go. Well, let's see if it's going to happen. Husky, Lucifer, what do you guys think? Can Brazil, especially Los, can they get that 3rd win, 3rd booyah, or no?
Well, I personally think yes. Vamos, go all the way. You know what? Screw the 3rd booyah, get the 3rd and the 4th booyah, right? Let's close it out. MIBR Los all the way. It's a day of celebration for Brazilian teams. Fluxo, MIBR Los, you name it. They are here to light up Group B. And now it is for every other team to prove that they are worthy of stepping up to the occasion and giving MIBR Los a worthy challenge.
I think Husky's mantra in the entire day so far has been vamos. He is just rooting for every Brazilian squad out there. But I think there's a mix that RRQ just brought in the previous game number 4. And that one reason tells me that there could be a change happening in this game of Kalahari. The open lands of the Sniper's Haven and Nest that they love to target on in Iago. He's already been doing great, and maybe he opens up, but Maal, he's also finding his winning ways. Conchita and Neptune, they mentioned about it, so maybe RRQ, they get another booyah, back to back.
I mean, we've highlighted Iago for the entirety of the Group B matches, right?
Yeah.
Most damage dealt, most eliminations so far, 21 for him alone. And then they have, Haone has 15, so 36 eliminations shared between 2 of them. Well, guess what? Iago is on the map again. But for now, it'll be hands. So 3 points for Lion.
Wait, what just happened? I mean, Al-Hali?
Was it lost? I think it was lost. It had to be.
Yeah, this is why, like, even they were mentioning on the desk, right, that, hey, that was a heated argument. There was something of a disagreement between the players, and this is what happens when emotions run high and you are not ready to kind of bring a reset. You instantly lose upon a good game that you are able to deliver. And now Al-Ali going out so early is a big surprise.
Yeah. And I think on top of that is also, perhaps even when you get the reset, you get a very unfavorable drop. right? They get wiped out by a team like MIB Outlaws. That has got to hurt, so that's double the damage on the mental side. And this is the different part, the secondary part of competition at the highest level, right? We're not just looking at skill, we're looking at the mental aspect, the psyche. How do you kind of recover